sorcerer with like nothing but fire spells, and it was glorious.
Mm-hmm. It went very well for him.
We're all here. I think everybody's in the right place. Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to the Stalwart Initiative. We are back with Shade and Cinder, and we're ready to crush it today. Hopefully, Nate, you can win today as well. I'd prefer if you win D&D today and not lose it. Not on our ship. Shit's not going down on our ship. So thank you for joining us, everyone. We're very much looking forward to this episode because we've all got little Pokemon things going on here, little Pokemon-esque visions for this, and we're anxious to see some of these play out. So we are a D&D community or a TTRPG community, and we've been kind of focusing on D&D for right now. I think in the weeks to come we're going to start introducing some more systems. I still haven't worked out the logistics on how to do that because I don't have all those books and stuff. So but we'll hammer out the details then. But look for that. Hopefully next Friday we're going to get something in here. We'll get one of our sages that knows stuff about other systems to come in and maybe do a one shot of another system for us. I'm anxious to see how that pans out, especially with my limited knowledge of only like half a dozen other systems. So, Doom Trooper, hey, welcome back. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for the tip. Welcome back. And so what else? We have community stuff coming up. We have this campaign on Saturdays. On Wednesdays, we have our other D&D 5e campaign and our Desert Adventure campaign. And then we also have one-shots on Fridays we do with community. So if you're interested in doing some D&D and other system one-shots, come join us in the Discord community and sign up for those on Fridays. So, Well, without further ado, let's focus on today's events, and let's meet our players and DM. Let's start over with Jillian. Jillian, introduce yourself and Mourning, please.
Hi, I'm Jillian. Jillian of Midgard, most places on the interwebs. Jill of Midgard on Twitter. I'm playing Mourning. She is a orc elf hybrid warlock whose patron is a coven of very powerful hags, and she's still figuring out whether or not she's destined to be a good hag or not. Probably not, but we'll see.
There's high hopes. But I think there's still a lot of children alive in this area, so maybe you won't get your hagdom just yet. But that's okay. You could
don't give her ideas.
Yeah. Hopefully, do that away from keep your hagdom off the ship, and I'm sure none of us will care or notice or pretend not to notice.
Maybe she'll redefine what it is to be a hag.
Oh, that's progressive hag movement. I like it. So speaking of movement,
the Hag 2 movement.
Yes, Hag 2. Let's move down. Let's make a movement down to Nate. Nate, introduce yourself. And Cyrus, please.
I'm Nate. I'm playing Cyrus. He's a knight of Karnath. He follows the blood of Vol, which means he has sweet necromancy powers and really wants to make sure he never dies. So I'm sure the DM will respect his wishes and his religion. We're super excited to learn about the Mourning a little bit more from an expert today. And Cyrus is expecting good things coming his way until we get to the Mourning, and then he's expecting horrible things because he's seen what's happened there before. So I'm excited to be playing, and just like Kay, I was super stoked all week getting ready for this game, and so yeah, let's have a good game today and keep my winning streak alive.
Yes, this is another day you win D&D. I'm sure. Okay, so before we slide over to Kay, thank you so much, Doom Trooper, again, and let me know if where you want to allocate that stuff if you're still in chat. DNH you as well. And okay, never mind. You already put it. So let's move over to Kay. Kay, introduce us to yourself and Ramiel.
Hey everybody, my name is Kay. I'm at ironic_cupcake on Twitch and Twitter. I can hear myself on the stream. I don't like that at all. Okay. Yeah, I'm playing Ramiel today. She is a half-elf divine soul sorcerer, and she has a Pokemon now, and his name is Nathaniel, and absolutely nothing is ever going to happen to Nathaniel ever, right, Derek? Right? Like, nothing ever, because I would cry, and, like, you don't want to make me cry because we're friends, so...
You all wanted pets. Take care of your pets.
Yeah, it makes
your responsibility.
I am taking him on a walk right now as we speak, okay? He is getting out. He's getting some exercise.
You gotta make sure your fire elemental gets, fed regularly. You gotta
pour some gasoline
walkies.
on him.
Ooh.
It'll be fine.
Emotion makes for good TV, so he's kind of incentivized to take away your toy.
We are the best TV, so yeah, I've been super stoked all week. Just like we're getting into it, we're getting there, and we're in a creepy basement full of weird wet specimen jars, and that is just like my favorite aesthetic, just like top tier. So I'm hyped.
Speaking of hype, I am also hyped. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle. I'll be playing Midge today, and much like Ramiel, I'm excited. Just for basically everything we're doing right now. The airship. I'm even very interested at a distance of her elemental friend, because I know airships are pretty common to me, but the how the things work in conjunction with elements is beyond me, elementals is beyond me because, well, I don't have a dragon mark, you need one of those to be cool these days, and seems like everybody has a dragon mark, or at least the bones of their fallen, and I'm just I have Ahab. I have a little tiny airship homunculus, but yeah. So I'm an alchemist, and I was just kind of a street fellow there for a while. I lost my best friend, my master, my mentor. When he died, his estate was taken over and divvied out, as well as I was divvied out into the street, trying to survive as a gnome in Sharn, just peddling my elixirs. It was like the 1700s in America, and I was walking around with my elixir cart, and my balms and the things that'll cure all your ailments. Hopefully mine worked better than
your snake oil.
yeah, hopefully mine worked better than the snake oil. But yeah. So until Mr. Cyrus found me and needed me for a special discreet job, and I rose to the challenge and have been at his side since. And now I'm hoping to get back into importance. I'm not looking for fame. I'm just looking to be useful and respected, and fuck Pondus. I'm just saying. That guy's he's trouble, and he's got to bring the whole group down.
Can we get team shirts that say "fuck Pondus"? Like
Pondus, yes.
Should be nice to Pondus. You and him actually have more in common now, because everyone else except for Whistler has a dragon mark. Actually, Morag has several. Who's not attached to her.
Yes, skin book. That's very true. I did want to like him at first, but then I saw him encroaching on my territory, whether it was his fault or not. But I don't want to be pushed out again and have to start all over. That would just suck. So, speaking of not sucking, let's go on over to Derek, our awesome DM. And Derek, can you introduce yourself and do whatever you do, man?
Hi everyone, I am Derek Sword. I'm DSword16 on Twitter, Discord, and Twitch, and I will be playing everybody else. So I will save the majority of my plugs for the end. But you can always find me and where I am through my Twitter, so that's this place. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump back in. So a little bit of background for those of you that might be joining us for the first time or just don't remember. Our intrepid adventurers are on their way to the Mournland. They were sent there by Merix de Caniff, who is one of the heads of House Caniff, who previously basically ruled in Sire, now known as the Mournland. A massive cataclysmic event of unknown origin destroyed an entire kingdom. And our adventurers are now going there in search of something to somehow salvage and save Merix's family name and somehow bring him to the top of his family. They find themselves now in New Sire, which is effectively a refugee camp, which exists almost within another kingdom. It's a kingdom within a kingdom. New Sire is ruled by Prince Orgrev, who they have met, who they did have an audience with, and they are hoping to find a little bit more information about this mysterious land that is supposedly filled with shadows and mutations and ghosts and all sorts of horrific abominations. So Prince Orgrev has taken them to a third sub-level of his castle. While New Sire is a refugee camp, it actually has over the past 5 years built up somewhat, and there is a keep, there's an outer wall, there's structures that people live in. And I should mention that Midge was particularly charitable towards some of the less fortunate citizens on his way in. And actually, I did want to, while I'm at that, I want to give an inspiration point for that. So, Kyle, you take an inspiration point for that. I forgot to give you one last week. So yeah, you now find yourself in a third sub basement. You have been led into what is essentially, as Kay adequately described, a laboratory of strange jars filled with strange things. So I will give a description of that one more time. Located in the dungeons of the Citadel, as you now are, you've been led down stone steps lit by the ever-bright lantern. And it's cool and damp, but not in a dungeony sort of way. It's not like there's dripping water or the sounds of screams. It's actually somewhat peaceful and quiet down here. You've been led through a heavy metal door, which was locked with an arcane lock that a whisper was able to open. And you've been led into a well-lit room with tables on all sides. The tables and shelves that line the walls hold glass jars full of various specimens. Some are plants, some are filled with liquid and various animalistic things. Some seem to only hold liquid or are completely indiscernible, that there's some sort of gas or they're almost filled with a shadow. Two tables at the far end of the room have two large objects sitting on them covered in sheets. And standing over them is the figure of a female elf. And that is where you now find yourselves.
Her name's Prudence.
That is correct, yes. So yeah, I couldn't remember if Orgrev introduced you or not, but yes, Orgrev says, I'd like to introduce all of you to Prudence Decorus. She is my expert on the Mourning and the Mournland itself, and I believe that she might be some assistance to you as what you might encounter should you find yourselves there. And I will leave you all. I have other business to attend to, but Prudence is more than capable of answering any questions you should have. And with that, he turns and his cloak kind of sweeps behind him as he leaves, leaving the door open behind him. But you hear him walking back up the stone circular steps.
So Cyrus looks a little bit on edge. He's not sure that all of these specimens are safe to be around. So he was exposed kind of to the Mourning and knows like the bad things it can do.
Yeah, and actually to that point, go ahead and have Cyrus make a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Not great.
You have an aberrant dragon mark that was kind of placed there. It first began after you were exposed to the forces of the Mourning, of that cataclysm. It is painful at this point. It's kind of like an itching burning. As I understand, it's on your chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kind of by his heart.
Yeah. It's not causing physical damage at this point, but there is certainly a definite discomfort to it at this point.
Mitch, get my ointment. I don't say that.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, he tries to just kind of like walk off to the side of the room so no one's like, he doesn't want to be in the middle of attention right now. He doesn't want to call attention to it, but he is not happy about all this.
And at this point, Prudence turns around to look at all of you. She has kind of thick glasses, and she's very pretty. She has the slim features of an elf, this dark auburn hair, and she is wearing very similar kind of robish clothing to, and I just forgot his name, even though you were saying you hated him.
Pondus.
Pondus, thank you.
If you're mentioning something the group hates, it's probably Pondus.
Yeah. So yeah, Pondus and her are dressed very similarly. And she looks to all of you. She says, well, please come in. Is there something I can assist you all with?
Tell us everything you know about the Mourning. That would be of great assistance.
That's
and preferably a way for us to not get hurt there.
Okay, and she goes over to a desk and picks up several large books. Well, I've written quite extensively on the Mourning, and as far as I can tell, there's several million ways for any person to get hurt in any significant way while there. Several ways that I haven't been able to determine the origin of. But yes, if you read all of this, that should encompass my general knowledge of the Mourning.
She looks pretty deflated, just like, oh.
Do you have a Cliff Notes version?
Like to call it a TR.
First of all, who are all of you, and why are you going to the Mourning? That might help me assist you.
Rami's gonna look over at Cyrus because Cyrus has also told her before you're not supposed to just like immediately introduce yourself, even though Cyrus always runs in and immediately introduces himself.
Cyrus is having some issues. So is this like a temporary thing, Derek, or is it kind of constant while I'm in this area?
It's definitely an irritation while you're here. It is subsiding a little bit at this point, but it was more like when you first entered the room, there was definitely a pain that you felt. So yeah, you can be back to getting your feet at this point.
So yeah,
it's not actually causing damage.
He's almost always like composed and cool, even in like dire combat situations. But he's like a little bit frazzled right now, and then is kind of just like struggling. He didn't hear anything that anyone just said. He's like in his own head a little bit and not really paying attention. He looks kind of at Ramiel, and he's like, "What? Yeah, just whatever." And like he's like off in the corner again.
We're helping Merrick's Decanith to find some stuff from his family in the Mornland. He sent us here, and yeah, but we're supposed to travel around in there for a while until we find something. So we need a way to not get hurt.
She looks and says, I see. Very well. Most of my expertise is on the mutations of the Mornland and whatever it is that changed the flora and fauna of the region. Perhaps I can give you some assistance on how not to be killed by these things, as they have all become severely predatory and incredibly lethal. And with that, she says, actually, this is a perfect time. These specimens were just brought to me. This might be a good point of education for you. And at that point, she turns back to the two tables that she's standing by. She says, oh, come closer. And she pulls the sheet off of one of them, and immediately this stench kind of fills the room as you now see a very large quadrupedal. As far as you can tell, it's very close to a warg, except there's two heads, and it doesn't seem to have any hair and seems very discolored. And she says, this is a perfect example of what the Mornland does to animals that were already there. This, as you might be able to tell, was a warg at some point. But actually, if you... she moves to one of the heads and kind of opens the jaws. If you look inside, there's been significant changes to the structure of the creature. And you see that there's actually 2 rows of teeth now. And she says, no, be careful, because I have found that several of these creatures also, their bites have become poisonous. It seems that whatever these was left there has adapted to become an apex predator. And, well, it's now essentially a country full of apex predators.
Remy was like absolutely like, oh, curious, like looking, and then just like snaps her hands away from it. And
I'll walk over very cautiously. So it's dead. It looks, for all intents and purposes, it's dead.
Oh, this is quite dead, I assure you. It's been lying here for some time.
Who was it that brought you this? You did not go into the morning yourself to get this thing.
Oh, no. For all of my studies, I am a bit of an armchair expert. I would never, with the safety that the Mourning has, I wouldn't travel there with 100 legions. The creatures and the things that I've seen that have been brought back, no, it's a place of absolute nightmares. And actually,
who brought this for you? Did they survive?
We have several groups that Prince Olgrev hires or pays for the things that they find there. I believe that this one was brought in by Icar Salvage. Are you familiar?
Icar Salvage.
Are we?
Are we?
Yeah, you can make a history check if you'd like.
What's the check about, so I know whether I get the bonus or not?
It's knowing who this person would be.
Okay, so it's a person, not a company. Do they do anything arcane related?
So it is a salvage. It's not an official company. It's more like a mercenary group, if you want to think of it that way. They deal in arcane objects. They I guess Jillian would know. So just to give the background here, yeah. Mourning and Midge would definitely have heard Icar Salvage. It is a reclamation group, sort of, that likes to travel into dangerous areas and recover objects of significance for other people. Midge would definitely know Icar's name. Icar the Black is his name. He is a half-orc who was a Karnathi commander who was taken off the front lines just before the Mourning, and now makes his way in the world by hiring less than scrupulous team members, and either going into the Mournland and getting back, pieces of Siren, like the royal jewels or things like that, pieces of artwork, or just pieces of technology, things that he could sell. And he does the same thing with the ruins of the Dakani Empire, which was the Hobgoblin empires that ruled Khorvaire before the other humanoids came. So he will also delve into those ruins and sell that stuff back. He's basically an Indiana Jones villain.
That's badass.
Mr. Cyrus, he's from your neck of the woods. And then I'll explain a little bit of that I know. And I'll say, I think, if I remember correctly, he used to fly something like the Firefly or some, I forget what his ship was, his old ship was called. I don't know what he's flying these days now that he's a looter villain type person, asshole.
Sounds like a hero. He's going and salvaging and reclaiming things.
I got a 19 on my history, Derek. Have I heard of him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Cyrus, you would have been on similar front lines. You wouldn't have served with him, but his name especially, Icar the Black, he was a big name just in Karnathi forces anyway, and was taken off the front lines because of injuries that he suffered, basically braving the front, and then kind of has a chip on his shoulder about it. But yeah, his name is one of those that there's a lot of people in Karnath who are like, oh, this is a war hero. And then there's other people who are like, no, he's more of a war criminal.
Okay, so he's on the line kind of like a bunch of like the Emerald Claw guys are always kind of on the line. Some of them were.
Yeah, Emerald Claw definitely has a more negative reputation. There's very, very few. The only people who like Emerald Claw are other Emerald Claw. Icar can, go back and forth between, Nusire and Sharn and sell his wares just fine without being arrested. If the Emerald Claw were to show up in Sharn, there would be an issue.
So did he outrank me during the war?
What was Cyrus's rank?
Probably just like a small force commander, I would think.
Let's see, what was
like
Icar?
the equivalent of like a lieutenant? Probably had like a platoon or a small company.
He would have, yeah. Icar was a captain. So
Okay.
Right.
So I'll say Cyrus probably had a lot of respect for him. His methods may have been a little bit different than standard Karnathi military methods, but it sounds like he fought for the nation and was wounded, and Cyrus respects that a lot.
Okay. And with that, Prudence looks to all of you and goes, and actually, while we're looking at these specimens, I think this should be interesting as well. This is what we believe humanoids have become. And she goes to the other table and takes the sheet off, and it's a humanoid. It's not anything like what you've seen before. It's not a goblinoid. It's not a lizard folk. It's not even, for those of you that may have even glimpsed a dragonborn before, it doesn't have those looks to it. This creature is definitely mutated. There's strange lumps, tumorous masses. The eyes actually have, she shows you, have a second set of eyelids and an actual film over them. We believe that this was actually a human by all definitions, but it seems to have actually adapted somewhat to its new environment. As you can tell, several of the fingers have become webbed. The musculature in the legs has tripled what a normal human's would normally be. Obviously the claws are significant, as well as the fangs it's developed, and we believe the eyes now are able to see in the dark, much as I suppose goblinoids or orcs or beings of that nature, or even elves would be able to. But we also believe that, and she points to two parts on the neck, that these might actually be venom sacs, that it could expel venom from out of its mouth and propel it forward. And we believe that this is what is left of Siren's survivors.
That's not going to happen to us if we go there, is it?
As far as we've been able to tell, we have had several teams go in and out, and some come back out. For all we've been able to tell, as long as there's no prolonged exposure, if you don't stay there for weeks and months and that sort of thing, we don't really have any evidence to that, but there haven't been any obvious mutations. As far as we've been able to tell, these mutations stem directly from the cataclysm of the Mourning itself.
Ma'am, would you mind if I took a couple samples from your human person?
I suppose. What samples were you hoping to take?
Blood, tissue, venom, that kind of stuff.
Oh, are you a fellow intriguist?
Very much so, especially when it's freaky shit like this. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Mitch, be careful.
I'm not going to touch it with my hands.
Morag has also been writing and sketching all of this into her Book of Shadows as she's been talking. I've been drawing pictures of these creatures and putting notes in the Book of Shadows.
Cool.
Putting them right next to the smut pictures.
It's a similar section.
Yes. Yeah.
The anatomical section of Terry.
Yeah. That
Drew Terry like one of our French girls.
For Sora Mania, who could possibly use more poisonous soldiers in her ranks. So.
That's true. That's true.
Has Prudence noticed any strange markings, resembling something like a dragon mark on any specimens that they've recovered?
It's odd that you asked that. A couple.
Not as odd as you think.
A couple of the mongrelous mutated humanoid folk, these seem to have what is the beginning of a dragon mark. An aberrant one, if it were to be one, but they don't seem to be complete in any significant way. It almost seems like the tumorous tissue takes over at a certain point. So no, unfortunately no, but we have noticed that there's, as I said, the beginnings of some strange marks on them. And I have been in contact with another of the Morgrave scholars, and she does nod to Pondus at this point. There's another more elder scholar on the Argonth named Caligo Kestio, and he actually has been essentially at the front lines. A lot of our mutations do come from him, just not these in particular. But he has been keeping note of several of the abominations that do expel themselves from the shadow of the Mourning. And yes, as I understand, this is quite typical. Things that didn't used to have two heads now have two heads. Things that used to be small are now large. Things that used to be meek are now dangerous and predatory and probably venomous. Everything just seems worse.
Cyrus is suddenly worried about growing a second head.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Argonth, we were hoping to stop by there before we made it into the morning. Do you know where it's currently located?
I don't at this point. We have been able to send communications back and forth thanks to the Dragon Mark houses that allow for that sort of thing. But I'm sure that Prince Olgref would be able to figure that out for you. No, I send my messages and they go through him. He's the prince is a bit of an amateur naturalist himself and has a lot of interest in his kingdom.
He seems like a good guy. Is he a nice person to work for?
I've never had an issue with Prince Olgref. He has always been respectful and appreciative of my work, and has always allowed me the space and whatever I needed to perform my studies.
Well, what would your advice be for anybody going into the morning? Do you have any tips from your research?
My tips would be a lot of the animals that we find are terrestrial. There's not a lot of, well, from what we've seen, a lot of flying animals. Definitely not a lot of animals in the water. There's, as we understand it, very little water left in drinkable, potable water, at least, left in the Mournland. So I would suggest definitely bringing enough food and water for whatever your trip may be, and always making sure you have someone to watch out.
Stay off the ground.
If you can, there are multiple creatures, as we understand it now, that have learned to lure adventurers. Actually, I should mention about the wargs. The alpha of the group, apparently, according to reports, has been able to mimic the cry of a baby, which has apparently led to the deaths of several adventurers in the hopes of saving a life. And the predatory nature of these creatures only extends from there. A lot of these things tend to really target the emotion and empathy of people that might go there.
Well, some dirty shit right there.
Well, it should be too bad. We have an airship, so we'll be fine, right?
Just kind of looks at everyone.
As long as we don't rescue any babies.
Oh, well, I don't see why there would be an actual baby out there, so we just ignore it, right?
Hopefully. Morag might be running low on child bones, though. It'll be hard to keep her from diving after those babies.
One of the tenets of hag culture is to play on the emotions of others, so I understand how some of these adventurers have fallen prey to this baby. Well, Morag's been also looking at the jars and stuff. Are there anything labeled that she can read? Any interesting things in jars that just
there actually is one jar that would probably catch your eye that is moving, and it seems to be essentially kind of like Morag would probably recognize it as a black pudding, a black ooze. It's actually pretty small in the jar itself, but seems to kind of be sloshing back and forth and trying to like reach at all of you since you're standing there. Nothing really else in the jars is moving. There's a lot of like formaldehyde and claws that are floating or eyeballs or whatever else. And then I would say there's probably another jar that is on the opposite side that has a little bit of movement to it, and that one looks like it's almost filled with smoke.
As uncomfortable as Cyrus is here, Morag is comfortable. Because this feels like at home. All of the bits and pieces and the hanging flesh. That kind of just like tap on the jar a little bit. Hello.
Don't tap on the glass. It tends to make them hungry. Is there anything else I can assist you all with? As far as finding things in the Mournland, that's not particularly my expertise. I would suggest the major cities, of course. And I believe Prince Orgreave does have maps of at least what used to be, and I believe that through the people that he's hired, they have been able to edit these maps somewhat. I would ask him about those for certain.
I think we're calling them ruins nowadays and not cities, yes?
The prince doesn't like to refer to his kingdom in the past tense. I believe that he's particularly hopeful of finding a way to
recover everything.
Yes. Resume his seat. I think that he hopes to one day expel the evil that has taken over his country and be the king that he was born to be.
Very ambitious.
Does Cyrus's mark react towards the specimens? So, like, if he gets closer or further, is there any like sensational change there?
Pretty much like everything in this room is kind of setting it off. But almost there's this general aura of stuff that comes from the Mournland. This if we were to think of it in a scientific way, it would almost be like Cyrus was able to basically react to radiation. These things are radiating an energy that they have absorbed by being in the Mournland, and his mark is reacting to that energy.
So he's got kind of like a sensitivity to it, almost like a sixth sense for it, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of ways. It's you could probably even think of it as like Sting from Lord of the Rings. It's his aberrant mark probably glows a little bit when he's in the presence of things that have absorbed this aberrant energy.
And you can tell when Voldemort is near as well.
That's right.
Yeah, it glows when Morag's around.
Well, is there anything that you would like us to bring back if we come back?
Well,
if we come back?
When we come back?
We come back?
If?
We might want to settle down and grow crops.
Oh, yeah. Two-headed corn is very tasty.
If and when you should return, if you find any significant specimens that might have significant mutations, I'm always willing to pay a decent wage for that and perform my experiments. So certainly, if you have the space on whatever transport you're choosing to take, and it doesn't come at too much risk to yourselves, I would definitely say that your lives should be the priority, and even traveling into the Mournland itself is making them less so. But yes, if you're able to bring anything back, I'm willing to pay whatever's fair for that.
Anything, just a petunia, like a flower that counts.
Only
if it's a mutated flower, yes.
Oh.
Yes, if the petunia chooses to, sing Camptown races, then absolutely.
Oh, well, hell.
If it has teeth and tries to bite you.
Yes, if you are bringing back a rock, and it is just a rock, I don't care if you painted a smiley face on it. I don't need that. Although a point about the petunias, we did mention how dangerous the fauna are. The flora are equally dangerous, so I do understand that there are several plants that have become carnivorous and entrap people to feast upon them. So do be wary of those. And ghosts.
Oh,
Ghosts?
yeah, let's
I can handle ghosts.
I can't speak for my companions, but I'm wary of carnivorous plants and mutated monsters and ghosts just in general.
Yeah, right.
That's fair.
Morag.
These are just more dime a dozen. You know, it's like if you're traveling from Breland to Onder, you might encounter an owlbear, maybe a troll. These things you're going to encounter more like an owlbear that's 2 stories tall, or a troll with 16 arms that vomits lightning. Things
What?
like that.
You're trying to dissuade us, but now I just really want to see that.
Yeah.
I'm no dissuasion happening. I'm just trying to adequately inform you.
Yeah,
What we can be certain of is that we aren't certain of anything.
Yes, expect the unexpected.
Good thing we brought our wild card with us.
Were you gonna say something, Midge?
No. That he pretty much answered it. Yeah, creepy shit at dime a dozen, and yeah, intrigued but yet scared. Sure. Yeah. No, that's it. We're good. I'm just like wiping the sweat off my forehead with the back of my hand as I have gloves and like all this fucking skin and a little vial. Well, I don't know. You can tell me what I got from trying to gather from this creature.
Yeah, you rolled a 20 with your alchemist supplies, so yeah, you got quite a significant bit. You definitely got, we'll say you got some blood from the warg, which was black and certainly congealed, but you did get a significant amount of that. You were able to pull a couple of the warg's teeth as well, without poking yourself, which is good, because you were able to tell that there is a venomous quality to them. And you were able to get one of the fingers from the mutated humanoid, as well as some skin samples and some blood from them as well. And their blood was kind of a mixture of like red and green a little bit.
Okay.
Christmas blood.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's so seasonal, yet so
Kind of like that Shrek ketchup from back in the day. Yeah.
There's a reference for you.
Gross.
Oh, she's over there drinking juice with 2 O's, calling Shrek ketchup
Quiet.
gross.
You're jealous of my Kool-Aid, and I can feel it. It's fine.
Okay, so warg teeth and what is it? Warg teeth and blood. Okay, warg teeth and blood.
And you got a little skin and a finger from the person.
Skin, finger, blood from person. Okay. I was more more so concerned with the blood in the skin and any of the venom if I can, but if it doesn't work, that's okay. The warg I didn't care much about as something that started as a human and changed the whole way to that. That was my main focus there.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, thank you.
Cool.
I'm just putting all my shit away.
Well, is there anything else I can inform you about?
It's kind of hard since we don't even know what to ask. Sounds like be ready for everything, and all the plants and animals will be trying to kill us, and yeah.
Yes, and I can assure you, I guess, about the environment at least, since we are talking about all of these things. You shouldn't need to worry too much about where you step. As far as we've been able to tell, there's no... the environment itself isn't trying to kill you. The air is breathable. There are, as we've been able to identify, several anti-magic zones that have appeared at random. So do be aware of those, especially if you do happen to fly an airship. If you fly into one of these zones, that can be pretty detrimental.
Is there a way to detect and avoid them?
We haven't found a way. I suppose if you have a spell like Detect Magic, it could potentially detect
No magic.
Yeah, detect the absence of magic.
Absence itself. Or if you just try to cast a spell and it doesn't work, that might be a good indicator. But some people have gone to using Everbright lanterns as sort of their canary in the coal mine. Put an Everbright lantern for them, since the Everbright lantern does utilize magic. If it does snuff out, that is a good indicator of an anti-magic zone.
Do we have some of those on the ship already?
You do.
Okay, cool. So we can rig that up.
Yeah, Everbright lanterns are pretty common. That's the general light source used throughout Khorvaire.
I tell Midge to make a note of that. Try and rig up some sort of canary detection device with our Everbright lantern on the prow of the ship.
Sure. We'll get something.
Me asking, not Morag. Has anyone ever experimented with dragon marks and anti-magic? Like, do dragon marks stop working if someone's in an anti-magic? Does it affect the person with the dragon mark?
So dragon marks, they do have magical quality in the sense that they like allow a person to know certain spells, and they do have like the mark of finding allows you. Well, here, let me go ahead and just pull that one. Oh. Right here, mark of detection. So yeah, it wouldn't affect, like, if you have a mark of detection, it gives you deductive intuition, which means you can get a bonus to your intelligence check. But if you choose to detect magic, that's not going to work. If you choose to cast invisibility, that's not going to work. More what's affected with a dragon mark is, say if you're operating in a lightning rail through an anti-magic zone, what's going to happen is that the magical connection that binds the elemental to its dragon shard is going to break, and that elemental will have the the option to break free, and the train will then stop and chaos ensues and all that kind of stuff.
Good thing we're friends with our elemental.
Yeah.
Becoming friends, yeah.
So,
Cyrus, are you okay? You look like you're going to...
He's very, like, pallid and sweaty.
Yeah.
He says, yes, just some bad memories from my time in the war. He lies. He says lifely.
Do I even have insight?
I mean, everyone has it. You might not be very good at it.
I'm gonna let insight check on that to see if he's telling the truth.
I'll deceive you.
Well.
This will be just how marriage works, everybody.
Yep. Oh, I beat ya.
Just how marriage works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Cyrus, what is Morag able to tell that you are lying?
He says it kind of just offhand. He hasn't mentioned any sort of trauma from his like war experience before. He's talked about being stationed near the Mourning before and like didn't have an issue with it then. So you kind of get the feeling that like something different is up here. He's being evasive about something he hasn't been evasive about before.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I narrow my eyes at him and I nod slowly.
I don't like that. He sweats even more and looks even more pallid.
She's gonna get you, man. Oh, I don't know what you did. I don't know what you did.
My skin and put it in her book.
Does she know that you have the thing?
Only you know that, Midge.
Okay.
Midge says that loud. Does she know about your thing?
I think they probably know that Midge works for Cyrus, and they probably know that Midge does something alchemical for Cyrus. We haven't like kept that a secret. You don't know what the thing is. They always do it like privately and like kind of secretively.
What's is it heroin is what they made to kick morphine addicts?
Back in the day?
Yeah, that's what I assume. I assume you were a morphine addict and that Stalwart
I got wounded in the leg. They gave me too much morphine. I got addicted to it. I'm addicted to heroin.
Yep. That's what I assume.
I think
that's the working theory.
Yeah, it's probably safer for me if you assume that than the actual truth. So I'm all right with that.
So Cyrus and Midge are essentially running the Breaking Bad on your side. You know?
I'm the Heisenberg.
Yeah,
it's the point where they thought they were doing good with it. They're like, oh, we're treating these people for their morphine addiction, but they were actually doing work. Yeah. That's the point.
Our intentions are good.
Yeah.
Always start out good.
Yeah.
Well, does anyone else have anything else for Prudence?
No, you're very very insightful. Appreciate all your information, your help, and your donation of dead creatures. It's useful. Maybe we might be able to get something from it. If I find anything, I'll be happy to share. I'm all for dissemination of discovery. Sure.
Wonderful. Well, if you would like to stick around, or you can leave as you choose. I'm going to dissect this warg creature now, and she puts on a heavy leather apron and some heavy gloves, and pulls out a rather large knife. So stand back. These things have a tendency, after they've been sitting around, to pop.
Ramy's just gonna peace out. She's just like, okay, back to the door.
I look at Pondus. I'm like, you should help Pondus. You maybe get her number. Like, maybe you assist with this. I wink at him.
You're trying to get Pondus a date.
Get up in there, Pondus. Wink.
And he does. He looks at you, and he looks to Prudence. Goes, absolutely. I am a fellow member of Mulgrave. Could I assist you in your investigation? And she doesn't really say anything. She just hands him a leather apron and goes, yes, get the bolt cutters. We'll need to get it through the rib cage.
Is Pondus okay with gore? Is he squeamish?
He actually looks all right. He goes, he looks to you. He says, don't worry about me. We dissected several things while at university. It was part of our first semester, just to see if we had the stomach for these sorts of things. So I've cut into lots of stuff.
Before you start
really gross
that,
stuff.
Pondus, would you mind giving the room to me, Prudence, and Midge? I have something to ask Prudence about privately.
Certainly. And yes, of course. And,
would you guys mind going and seeing about if we should meet the prince for dinner or something like that?
I mind, but I'll do it.
Ramy just kind of grabs onto
Another
Morag's
example
arm.
of how
Just
marriage works.
Okay.
I guess we leave the room. Do I have any
All
scrying spells?
Yeah.
I want to know something.
As you're leaving,
It's
Whistler
magically warded. You're out of luck.
Yeah.
As you're leaving, Whistler turns to Ramy and goes, I heard him whispering about his thing. I think this is about his thing.
The rash on his thing.
Maybe he should see a doctor instead.
That's kind of what he's doing, right?
What's a doctor?
It's a person
Dr.
who
Midge?
helps other people feel better. They make medicine, or if you're hurt, they'll fix you.
Oh, yes. I think there's a house for that. You should go to that.
Jurassico, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Ramy will also just kind of
yes,
grab onto
Jurassico.
Whistler's arm, she's one around Morag and one around, just grab onto Whistler's some sort of forearm and just
Okay, come on, we need to go now.
Are they swinging you in the middle? You're their child.
Yeah.
she's the baby.
These are
They
your
absolutely,
parents.
if they're not, they're doing it wrong. So
Metal husband. All right. Yes, you've all left the room to Prudence, Cyrus, and Midge.
Midge, help me out of my armor really quick. And I kind of give a spiel to Prudence about, I'm going to trust you with something. Hopefully you can keep it confidential. I understand if not, this could end up helping people, so I think the risk is probably worth it. And I show her my aberrant mark and explain that I was stationed near the border of Sire when the morning hit. About a week afterwards, this aberrant mark started appearing on my skin.
When she sees it, her eyes go wide, and she pulls out actually a magnifying glass and takes a kind of a closer look at the edges of where the mark actually meets your skin. She says, this is incredible. It doesn't match any of the marks that are known. Oh, what does it do for you? What changes have you noticed since then?
I can produce what a wizard would call a cantrip with it. I can cast a spell of chaotic magical energy. It hurts when I use it, and it kind of reacted to all the things in this room.
I see. Well, that tracks with what I've discovered so far, is that everything in the Mournland seems to have been heavily affected by chaos. I believe, that's my personal theory, is that there was an outpouring, explosion, something that expelled chaos outwards and affected everything within that area. And I believe that you were affected as well. Perhaps less so. It does, and she actually pulls out one of the drunks. It does match in some places the partial marks that we've found on a few of our specimens, but I'm very sorry.
So you don't have any idea of what could cure it?
Look, I've tried a bunch of stuff. None of it works. None of it even...
He tried rubbing it. He tried licking it. Nothing worked.
Well, those are the first two things you should do, absolutely.
Right?
Of course.
That's science for you. That's how it works.
Any experiment. Yeah. Damn forked tongue.
Look, rub, lick, in that order. No, I'm sorry. I've never seen a complete aberrant dragon mark like this. I don't have anything that could help you, but as far as what cures it, what cures chaos? Order, I suppose? You need to find whatever the semblance of that would be.
The iron fist of justice.
Maybe hit it with an iron fist. No, don't do that. I imagine that if you were to find any answers to your personal mystery, it would be in the Mournland as well.
Okay.
So take him into the most unholy place possible to find the most holy thing to get rid of his unholy affliction.
I don't personally believe that holiness has anything to do with it. There are evil gods as well as there are good gods, and even then, they're in more absence than they are in presence. I believe that this is more of something that was out of control. I don't believe that what is there is necessarily evil. I believe that it is just another form of life. Everything that exists in the Mournland now is just surviving in the best way it can given its environment. Everything changed and adapted so that it could adapt to its neighbor. Whatever plants changed because the animals changed, and vice versa. But to say that they have no right to live, I suppose one must defend themselves, but...
So you're saying Cyrus is an apex predator now?
Well, I've never seen you in combat, but I imagine that something's changed about you to make you different and perhaps better to habitate in dangerous areas. Would you say that that's true?
Yeah, I mean, the spells do come in handy, for sure. Even if I hate using them because it hurts.
Well, like I said, I have nothing that can particularly help you, but I do hope that you find an answer to the questions you seek.
Well, thank you for trying. Midge, help me with my armor again.
Gee, it's just so heavy.
On the other side of the door, I turn to Pondus. I'm like, I think he's getting naked in front of her. Sorry, Pondus.
What? Is Pondus sad about the Cyrus side of it or about the Prudence side of it?
Well, if he is getting naked, he's getting naked in front of Midge as well. So that's... I'm a bit of a freak, but not that much, you know.
They're really good friends or something.
Yes, good friends.
Remember last week when Cyrus told you he had a girlfriend? You guys are forgetting.
Midge keeps getting angry at me because I think he keeps wanting to rub him. I'm
just a squire, you know.
There's like a bromance there. I'll allow that. Yeah. All right. And then we come out, and I don't address what happened at all with anybody, and we head back upstairs.
All right, never to be spoken of again.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you all head back upstairs. Back to you follow the path that Orgrev led you down, which is pretty straightforward, and find yourselves back in the throne room. He is now standing with a group of individuals, and kind of standing, beyond the dais, and is chatting with them. And yeah, I think especially with the role that Cyrus had and with his background, you would recognize that standing next to him is Icar the Black.
Does he have any sort of uniform or insignia or anything like that, or is he like private completely now?
He is a large half-orc. He has what would identify him most is he has 2 scars on the right side of his face, which lead from his mouth and his eye, and his right eye actually is completely bloodshot from whatever damage he suffered. He is wearing pieces of Carnathi armor, but a lot of the uniformity has kind of been adapted. Like there's not pauldrons anymore. It's kind of bare arms. It's a lot of like whereas Cyrus wears the very heavy Carnathi armor. Icar is wearing kind of a lighter version of that, a personally adapted version of it.
So Cyrus, like throughout this whole adventure, has been the guy kind of like used to being in charge. Like he always kind of takes a leadership role and jumps in and tells people what to do all the time. He goes very like stiff and like stands at attention and salutes, and it's like the first time you guys have ever seen him like be deferential to anybody.
So are you saluting like as soon as you walk into the room, or are you walking
I approach first, and then yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you approach they're kind of having a conversation. Like I said, there's a group of other individuals there. There's Bugbear, a Warforged, Minotaur, actually a couple of you would recognize Carnathi undead, very similar to your skeleton that is following you.
I forgot he was with us.
Yeah, you all have your pets.
They're probably not terrorists like mine is.
And you walk up, you salute, and he just starts laughing. He goes, "Put your hand down, boy. That doesn't matter anymore. No, I am not. I'm guessing you're still in the service."
I guess Cyrus technically isn't. The war is over, and he's a noble. He probably went back to being a noble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then don't waste the energy. I'm not serving anymore. I've got my own private business. Don't waste your time. I'm Icar, and he sticks his hand out.
Cyrus will shake it. He says, "Just respecting the tales I heard about Icar the Black."
Yeah, those tend to get around, don't they? But yeah, don't pay attention to those. Half of them are bullshit, and the other half are made up. I'm just a guy trying to make his way in the world, So
I hear you've been to the Mourning and back to tell the tale.
Yeah, you hear a lot. Yeah, no, that's part of what I do. I've got my crew here, and yeah, we perform a service for pay, a service that people are willing to pay for, and I take a sense of pride in that.
We're going to the Mourning.
Yeah, we're looking to do something similar, and I'll introduce my crew.
All right. Well, it is nice to meet all of you. This, I suppose, fair is fair. This is my crew, and he points to a warforged next to him that has a black spade, like card spade symbol on the side of his metal head. And he has one of his eyes has actually been replaced by this kind of metallic sphere that kind of almost spins in its slot. This is Spades. He points to one of the Carnathi undead with it's mostly skeletal. This is Dead Vic, and
Dead
then he points, and this is, and then he points to the other one, which actually is more zombie-like than skeletal. This is less Dead Mick, and he points to the bugbear. That's Snog. There's a dwarf, which when you look at him, he has he's wearing an armor that doesn't really it's chitinous and has like veins and seems to pulse a little bit even as he stands there. It's actually kind of sickening in a way. That's Brugar Blacktooth. This is Mendex, and he pulls over a human individual that is once again dressed in kind of Morgrave style robes, but his are tattered and they don't have the symbols that you noticed on Prudence or Pondus. And then he points back to the Minotaur, which is kind of looming over everybody, and that's Gorham. So these are my fellas, and yeah, we got a couple of them are new. Lost a couple fellas last time, but yeah, you know, always somebody willing to get paid for a good day's work.
Rami just kind of like leans over towards Morag and just like whispers like, "They're all a lot bigger and stronger than us."
Bullshit.
So what's that, Kyle?
I was just whispering to Ramio. I thought I heard her say what she said to Morag, so I just bullshit.
Everybody's bigger than Midge.
But
so you kids want to go to the Mourning? You ever been?
No.
Uh-huh. All right.
Is it scary?
You're cute. That's funny. Yeah. What's your worst nightmare, little one?
That's kind of hard to explain. I suppose there's a lot of social context involved in what someone's scared of.
You know what? It was a bad question. All of your nightmares live there, and they're learning while they're there. All of your nightmares are getting bigger and stronger, and they're waiting for you.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah. That one about being like naked in school, it's there, but it's also a troll, and it wants to eat you.
Homeschooled.
Oh, that's even weirder and more of a nightmare.
I mean, is it? If you're homeschooled, can't you just like? I guess you can be naked if you want. It's home.
That's true.
Don't tell me what I can do in my own house.
Well, this is Cyrus. You didn't introduce yourself, right, Cyrus?
Yeah,
He did.
Oh, okay.
And I introduced all of you.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Never mind.
Cyrus says something sort of cryptid like, sometimes our nightmares are worse outside of the morning, and we need to go to it to get out of them.
Sure. Yeah. That's deep. So what are you guys going for? You want to find some lost treasure? Are you bringing something back to Orgriv here? Are you you going to bring back a Warforged Colossus? Huh?
I always wanted to drive one of those.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I guess you should drive these babies for miles.
Yeah. Merrick's to Cannith sent us to find something of House Cannith to help save their fortune and reputation.
Alright. Well,
Also, whatever you would deem the most impressive, that's what we're going to get.
All of a sudden, Morag's a real try hard.
Alright, well, watch out for everything there that wants to kill you. The Lord of Blades will peel your skin off.
Have you seen the
Who's
Lord of
that?
Blades in person?
No, but I have seen his patrols. I don't think he leaves his city too often. I haven't
Which
figured out
one's
which
his
city.
city?
I don't know that, and
Oh.
I'm happier that way.
I think most soldiers know of the Lord of Blades, right? He's kind of like a legend, folktale sort of guy.
Well, you did see some graffiti. Yeah, of his in Sharn. So yeah, if you guys want to do another history check, we can figure out that, because he did appear after the Mourning. He wasn't necessarily serving during the war. Yeah, Rami, you
Yeah, I don't know nothing.
So Rami, especially like seeing, living in Sharn, there's a lot of protests against Warforged. A lot of them circle around the Lord of Blades. He's this weird kind of messiah figure slash warlord. He's a terrorist or he's a freedom fighter. He's a Warforged that appeared after the Mourning and has basically set up his empire therein. He has an unknown number of Warforged that serve in his army. He's called Lord of Blades because he is a Warforged that is covered in like blade type wings and applications, blades on his arms, blades on his fingers. He carries like a spear that has 3 different like movable spearheads. There's a lot of slicing involved. So yeah, so he rules in the Mournland and has a particular hatred towards anyone that isn't a Warforged, and kind of stands as this hero figure for Warforged that feel oppressed. And yeah, if you go to Metrol, be aware that there's well, I don't know, we have an agreement with whoever rules there. I've never met her, but she's the one that I assume that you met Prudence. She's the one making those people, if that's what you want to call it.
Making them? Someone's turning people into those things?
She's encouraging the transformation, if you want to call it that. Yeah, I think she calls them mage bread.
Metrol's all the way on the other side of the Mourning. I don't think we'll go that far, if I had to guess, since we're coming in from the western front.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to find when you're there. I don't know what you're planning on. There's plenty of cities. Some of them aren't there anymore.
Have you ever been to Making?
Yeah. Making is hard to get into anymore. It's mostly covered in jagged pieces of spiky glass now, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that really wants to kill you.
That's like all over the place, though, right? Stuff that wants to kill you.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, anywhere where anything can hide, that's everything there's scared of everything else, but at the same time still wants to eat it. It's not a great place for kids.
Would you be willing to help us with a map? We were going to put some stuff down on a map, but everything's so different there now. You've been there. Would you be
That's a really
willing
good idea.
to mark some things down on our map for us, but maybe places to avoid or safer places?
Listen, I appreciate little conversations, but you are competition. I'm not gonna help somebody who's gonna take business out of money out of my pockets.
We're only going the once, and we're not going to sell anything.
You're selling something back to Merrick's to Kenneth.
I assume we're just
selling it.
We're
just giving it to him, and we're not gonna keep going.
Oh, just out of the goodness of your hearts? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, we don't have a map. That's actually what we were talking to the prince here about. Is as we understand it, he has a complete map, and we were hoping to get it from him. So now it seems we have some competition for that. Great.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem. You can make copies of things.
Maybe we could go together.
I'm not getting paid enough to babysit. That's nice though.
I find that
won't be
funny, but Cyrus
babysitting.
is
We have
probably
our
getting a
own
little
ship.
cranky about this. He's been talked down to quite a bit already.
At this point, you actually hear a voice from across the hall. It's a familiar voice. It's the voice of Sappher, the halfling that wears the pterodactyl skull.
Our dinosaur friend.
Yeah. And he is, as much as a halfling can barge and like trudge forward without looking adorable, he's doing it. And he's pointing his finger and he's going, Icar, you son of a bitch! You piece of shit! God damn it! Oh! You screwed me over! And
Sapper, is there a problem here?
Takes him a little while for his little legs to get there.
He's waddling as fast as he can.
Yeah. I brought a perfectly fine thunder lizard for you, Prince Orgrev, and for your fight tomorrow. And I saw what my beautiful boy is supposed to fight, and that ain't fair. No. I am taking my T-Rex and I am going home. Goodbye. And the prince kind of goes, no, this... Great.
He's very protective of his pets.
Except he always is like selling them to go get
killed
or fight. He's very protective for a little while, we'll say that.
It has to be a fair fight.
Yeah, I think that's his big thing. He wants it to be a fair fight.
Let me guess. Icar brought something back from the Mournland to fight a regular T-Rex.
He goes, yeah, you're smart. I did bring something back. I brought something good. And actually, this provides a good opportunity. You want a map? We want a map. We got a fighter. Do you have a fighter? I mean, if not, you look like fighters.
After he just got done for like 15 minutes saying how we were children and babies. Now he's like, oh, you guys can fight.
Babies can fight. You give a baby a knife, it'll fight.
That is true. That is how children in Karnath are raised.
You never given a baby a knife? Look at another baby.
I remember my first baby knife.
Baby knife from Hasbro.
Yeah. So this is something from the Mournland, though, so it might be a good chance for us to get some experience.
Yeah, experience.
Well, maybe we should find out what it is before you make any decisions, Cyrus.
We're fighting it. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I also want to impress this guy for unrelated reasons.
Yeah. Reasons related only to acquiring the map we're after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Morag has been surprisingly quiet through all this.
She's been drawing. She's drawing in her little book.
Right, hearts.
She's
never
seen
Mrs. Icar the Black.
her standards for like male companionships are like ogres and minotaurs and stuff. She's never seen a handsome man like this before.
Right,
yeah, this is like all of like just Morag's just like lined up with bows at this point. There's a bugbear, there's a minotaur, there's a half pieced together warforged. It's just like this is Morag's the Bachelorette. She's standing there with a rose.
I can't believe you didn't get that way over Midge and Cyrus. We're kind of upset right now.
I'm not.
Morum, I had a great time on our date. You murdered so many civilians and I found a real connection. We bathed in the blood of our enemies, and
maybe if Cyrus tells her about his aberrant marsh, she'd be more interested in it.
Yeah, and interested in scraping his skin. Derek, it sounds like you're finding an evolution to Monster Crush right now.
A little bit.
I mean, wouldn't like her scraping his like mark off just kind of solve everybody's problems?
Yeah, would that fix my problem if she flayed
You wouldn't have to deal with it.
Only one way to find out.
It just grows back.
Solving one problem with another.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Cyrus is feeling very like pissing contest towards Icar after he's been talking down about Cyrus and Cyrus's crew. So he's like, he's in. Like, bring it on. We can take on whatever you dish out.
You know, we're doing
okay.
We're doing just what he wants, right? He wants us to face this
we're
thing.
We're falling
and die.
right into the trap.
Yeah.
And then we're going to all die. But it'll be worth it because we'll get the last laugh.
No.
And not if we're dead.
Yeah. No, Cyrus, that's not how that works.
We have to do it.
Cyrus.
He insulted our honor!
I don't care.
So Prince Orgrev has been watching this.
It's a good way to get some experience.
I was so up and down. Midge was like trying to act tough and pissy with him at first, and then he started talking about the mutations and the blade chick or the blade dude, and he was like, "Oh, okay, Warforged, yeah, okay, I'm okay, cool, everything sounds great." And then he did the insulting, and now it's back to "I hate you, motherfucker." And now Cyrus is like, "Yeah, let's just walk into the whole thing. Let's impress this stupid piece of crap."
No, I don't want to impress him. I want to show him up.
Well, Whistler, help me out here. We need to be reasonable about this, right?
Yeah. I mean, we do need the map.
But we can just make a copy of it. We can both have a map.
Team kill the monster.
Well, I do value Whistler's opinion, so that's.
What does
Encountering
Prince
something
Orgrev
from the
have to say about it?
What does who?
Prince Orgrev have to say.
Yeah, so he's been going back and forth, kind of watching you bicker, as it were. He looks, he says, I do have a single copy of the map. I suppose I could copy it if you all would agree to that, but we do have a spectacle prepared for tomorrow for the citizenry. It's nice to help them turn their attention away from the perils of life and give them a bit of distraction, which is why I did hire Iakar and I did hire the Talenta halflings to bring contenders, but it seems that one of our fighters has backed out. It would mean a lot to me if you all could step in. I don't believe that. I mean, what's a T-Rex? You know,
we fought one of those already.
Oh, great! Then you're on even ground then.
The fear that your people have of the Mourning could be quelled greatly by us defeating something from the Mourning.
Yeah, Mourning, welcome to Team Kill the Monster.
Defeating the Mourning is a way of showing them that it can be defeated.
That was my hope. My money was always on the T-Rex, but apparently Sappho felt that it wasn't a particularly fair fight.
Is Sappho still here?
No, he went trudging.
He already left.
I wanted to talk to him.
I was going to ask him what it was.
Yeah, he flipped double birds and ran.
And then barged out.
Yeah, he said what he needed to say.
How many tentacles does this thing have? My answer will depend.
Icar kind of looks and goes, no tentacles.
Okay, we're good then.
Rami's getting frustrated and puts her hands on her hips defiantly. We'll look up at this guy.
Well, what is it then? You won't tell us. We have to know before we're going to agree to fight it or not.
It's big. It's got 2 arms. It's got 2 legs.
Yeah, and you're big and you have 2 arms and 2 legs, but I don't think we're fighting you. What is it?
Fight him? I'll fight him. I'll duel you right now.
Actually, as you are getting in his face.
Oh God. Derek, don't make me pay for my actions.
He rips Nathaniel out of your grip and smashes it on the ground.
When will you learn?
Rami, do a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Rami, you can add a as I see whatever the fuck this is. You can add a 4. Add a 4 to your roll.
Flashing your genius again,
yes,
Midge.
I'm flashing
You're
my
blessing.
genius. Flashing my genius.
Oh, and if it's a save,
19.
if it's a save, you get a +4 from me also.
Oh shit, 23 then.
So you see his eyes actually flash black, and you get this sense of peril that kind of washes over you. But you actually stand tall, and he after a second just kind of smiles and goes, "You're a lot of fun. I really hope you don't die."
She has this very pouty little girl face, just very furrowed and glaring at him. Just.
Well, then you have to tell us what it is.
Listen, if you want to take a look at whatever it is, it's in the fighting pits. It's in its pen. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Fine, we will.
Okay. We're being businessmen about this. You want to shake on it? And he kind of extends his hand out and pushes past Rami as he does this towards Cyrus.
I can
Cyrus-
excuse you.
Cyrus will grip his hand and try and crush it in like manly
Break
pissing
him.
pissing
Break.
contest style.
Yeah, go ahead and do a strength check.
Strength or athletics? Just flat strength.
It'll be flat strength. Yeah.
I think I just.
Yeah, I wouldn't say squeezing a hand is particularly athletic. That's not a sport.
I'll give you another. I'll give a flash of genius for that. I'll give another one up.
Okay, so
Shit.
I'll just roll a d20 and then I get +8.
Yeah, you can always just click on your strength.
Ah!
Oh no! Oh no!
That's the second one today.
You know what? I think now is the appropriate time to use one of my points I have. my
Oh
advantage
yes,
point.
this is definitely
Do you have an
worth
advantage?
it.
Probably.
This is definitely.
All right, yeah, I
Use your
do.
advantage. Oh my god.
Oh my god! The universe is perfectly balanced. Okay, so now I got a 28.
Okay. Yeah, you squeeze his hand just a little bit, but yeah, he doesn't really. I think with a 24 versus a 28, he doesn't really show a lot of pain or anything. But yeah, he lets go before
I'll
you
say
do.
you've got a deal. I'll show you tomorrow how a real man of Karnathi fights.
Morag is fanning herself.
There's so much testosterone
It
in
got
this
really hot in here, guys.
There's a lot of testosterone going on right now.
Must be coming from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Male sex symbol.
oh no, never mind. I can't even sweat. I'm sorry.
There's no showers on the Morning Star.
So yeah, I'll grip his hand and then like I'll turn on like a precise like 180-degree military style marching turn and just like march off angrily.
Rami's stomping after him to leave, even though she doesn't know where the fighting pits are. She's like, I'm gonna go find them.
Well, if you'd all like to join me for dinner, Prince Orgriff says, we'll have dinner in an hour in the dining room is just off the hall there. You're all more than welcome. If you have other dinner plans, there are several quality restaurants in New Sire as well.
Well, let's go check out this thing, and then we'll go to have dinner. Hopefully our appetite is not ruined by the abhorrent monstrosity we're about to view.
And as you go walking off, Pontus comes walking up the stairs. There is a little bit of like gore kind of in his hair and kind of a little blood on his cheek. And there's a certain kind of, inside of a mutant warg smell about him. And he looks at all of you and goes, so what did I miss?
Cyrus just like snaps, like, clean yourself up, Pontus. We're having dinner with the prince tonight. And he just like huffs past him.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I deserve that. All right. Wait, do I? I don't know. All right, and you all make your way to the fighting pits, which are actually connected to the keep itself. There's kind of like a press box, which actually extends out from the castle, and then the separate ring that is the fighting pits with all the seating area and everything, very gladiatorial ring-esque. But still, stone, very quality. Banners of sire hanging and flapping in the wind. Sand, sand and stone is what the floor of the arena essentially is. And beyond that are the holding pens, the preparation area. And you go back there. There is a few guards standing. There's a few guards standing aside, and they see you. They allow you in, and you see several pins and everything. Most of them are empty, and there is a very large one towards the corner, which seems to have something massive inside.
Let's poke our head in.
Carefully.
At least approach it.
Right.
We'll get close and take a close look at it.
Yeah, let me.
Uh-oh, he's
page
looking
here.
through his book.
That's okay. It's in here. Yes, it is a large metallic entity that none of you, I don't think, would really recognize. It is huge. So it is even larger than large. It kind of sits hunched and almost cradled in as much of a ball as it can be. It has a large, kind of slanted, flat back with several spikes sticking up from it, which culminates in the front of a metal face with a grill-like mouth and two gemstone eyes that do not seem at this point to be illuminated. There are hinged shoulders, which seem to be able to rotate full 360, and attached to one of those is a large arm which has a cleaver-like blade. The other one has a hammer-like fist with a piston that seems to give an extra kind of punch as it hammers down. Even though it's crouched, you can see that it has two large, thick, stubby, metallic legs, so it is bipedal, and several chains that seem to kind of hold it in place at this point. It doesn't seem to be active, but actually Whistler looks at it, and he says, "I know what this is.
What is it, Whistler?
It's a Titan."
A Titan?
Yes, it is. It is a Warforged Titan. It's like me. It's like an idiot cousin.
But really big?
Yes, they don't have the sentience and ability for thought and emotion that Warforged of my size are capable of. These were killing machines, essentially.
It really is just a tool of war, then, and less a person.
Yes, these were actually one of the first Warforged before they made smaller ones like me. These were found buried from long ago. The giants of ancient times built things like this, and the Cannith family found them and readapted them for the last war. But eventually they wanted to make something a little more sophisticated, and here I am.
How do you feel about us killing this tomorrow?
It doesn't have life in the way that you or I do. It is a machine.
Okay.
And breaking a machine that wants to kill you, I don't think is wrong.
Any insight on weaknesses it might have?
Oh, it doesn't have any.
That's not
No?
No,
How did they get it here?
Whistler, how is it? Can it?
Deactivated it probably.
Will it fight on its own, or does it need commands to do so?
It is issued commands by a commanding person. But it could be as general as kill everything in front of you and don't stop.
So, in the middle of the fight, it will rely on commands from someone to adapt to the fighting situation?
Perhaps it does have thought of its own. It is able to, as any animal would be, adapt to a situation.
So it has instincts.
I suppose you could call them that, yes.
But this is from the Mourning. We don't know how the Mourning could have affected it.
Do we know if the Mourning has an effect on mechanical things?
It
Seems
was
like
mentioned
it's
to you
mostly
by Prudence.
Yeah,
it
flora
seemed
and fauna.
mostly organic.
I was thinking the King of Blades is probably a little twisted because of the Mourning. So, and he is, well, he's sentient, of course, but he is, not of flesh creature.
But the Warforged, we would know that, right? Like Warforged are able to go to the Mourning more often than other people. Like the Lord of Blades like lives there, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's,
I
He
think
might
that's
be
Mitch's
crazy.
point is that they're mentally twisted by it.
But they aren't physically, I don't think.
I'm just trying to gauge on how we can mess with this thing's ability to adapt to our, flair.
Whistler, what can you tell us about it? What kind of things can it do?
Yeah, let's have Whistler make a roll for that.
Because I've got multiple ideas running through my head right now, like math problems.
Nice job, Whistler.
Well, I did fight with one of these once. I can tell you that it doesn't have a mind as we know it. or any type of circulatory system or skins. So I would stay away from psychic attacks or poison attacks. It does have a significant armor shell that we should only use magical weapons against it or magical attacks.
Okay.
It cannot be charmed or persuaded. It does not grow tired, and it will not stop until it kills everything it is meant to kill.
Or
It
I
can't be
go
frightened.
regretting her decision to fight.
But
Looks
it
like it's
doesn't.
got 2 melee abilities, but not any sort of ranged attacks. Is that true, Whistler?
Yes, these things don't have. They were actually meant to be ridden on. It has the back platform, which was meant to be stood upon by soldiers and fired from. But it does have quite a reach. I wouldn't, especially if we're going to be contained in an arena.
And what is the size of the arena?
That's a good question. Let's say that it is 100 feet.
Oh, it's big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's big enough that you can get a lot of people to watch the citizenry of New Sire.
Okay, so here's the plan, gang. You guys all stay away from it, and I'll try and occupy it and take the punishment it dishes out, and you guys bomb it from afar.
Okay, but Whistler, it doesn't have any weaknesses. You said there's nothing that it's particularly weak against. I mean, I have things that can use lightning, and that sounds like metal's very conductive. So I don't know.
It is. Metal is absolutely conductive, but this thing is only metal. Lightning only really damages when it conducts into something that is then damaged by the lightning. No, these things were meant to have no resistances. They were meant to last through several battles, if not the entire war. I've seen very, very few of these actually brought down.
What do you think we have a chance of doing this?
Yes.
Are you going to help us?
Yes, of course.
Oh, that's a relief.
We'll have Pondus too with his.
My strengths lie in beguiling. We'll need to get some blood if we want to get Terry back on our side. I need some dead person blood before tomorrow.
Have some upstairs. Dead mutant blood.
Mid just got mutant blood if you'd like to use that and see what happens.
Must be something that has died within the last 24 hours.
Oh.
That's going to be hard to get our hands on.
We'll ask around. How about that?
Yes, we should go ask everybody we know if they have a dead body on their hands.
They might have
if your relatives or close loved ones die in the last 24 hours, we'd like to harvest some of their blood if you don't mind.
What about a morgue?
Maybe they have a morgue.
Yeah.
That might be less.
Get a hall pass from the prince and head
Hey,
to
we're
morgue.
going to dinner with the prince tonight. Like, people always die at like royal dinners.
That's right. The lights will go out. The lights will come back on.
Yeah, and someone will be dead.
Hopefully it's not one of us.
As you're saying all this, one of the guards, actually it's one of the guys that actually kind of works in the fighting pits, he kind of leans in, and it's clear he's been eavesdropping, goes, hey, you need dead guy blood?
Yes.
he knows a guy who knows a guy.
I mean, we got our gladiator pile.
Did any of them die recently?
Yeah, one of them died just yesterday. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
You want dead guy blood?
Yes, please. I give him a vial.
Yeah.
He's probably hoping for some money.
Yeah, his hand's still out.
I put a gold into it.
Let's multiply that by 5.
I put 5 gold in. Oh,
that's
20?
right.
I don't math. I art well, but I don't math well. How much do you want, man?
5.
Okay. I give him 5.
All right, yeah, I'll get you some dead guy blood. You got a preference? I got a hobgoblin. I got a dragonborn. You want some dragonborn blood?
That's rare blood.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, maybe mix some together.
You want like kind of a rosé?
Like a cocktail.
Like a summer red blend.
Sangria?
Yeah.
A blood sangria?
Blood sangria.
gross.
Hold on,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
something there. Sanguina?
Yeah,
Sangria.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got there.
Because I usually have to drink it myself
what-
if I can't use it in time. So
It's what
tastier
fancy
the better.
vampires
Oh my
like to
God.
drink. They get a sanguina.
There you go.
Yeah.
Put some ice in it. All right, yeah. After a few minutes, he returns with your vial filled with blood.
Yay. We're set, guys. Terry will be back. I'll see if
And
he wants
it looks like Kay's juice. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Yes. That'll...
Yes.
And she's drinking it. Great.
0 calories, 0 sugar,
Yeah.
All blood.
all blood. All
All
right.
right. To the feast we go, I guess.
Yeah, you all arrive at dinner well before it is going to be served. Are you any of you changing? Are you going back to the airship? Is there anything you want to do before dinner?
I think my
Do they have
uniform
outlets?
/ armor should be fine.
What was that, Jillian?
Do they have outlets in his town?
Just go to the Nike outlet, get some new shoes.
Yeah. I want to be looking good for.
Rami will. This is when we can have like Rami's gonna like braid like
Oh,
Mora's
yeah.
hair. We can.
We
have
were
the
gonna do
beauty
She's All That to
transformation.
Mora,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Rami will like
Yeah.
insist like we're having dinner with a prince. We have to dress nicely and like. take
Sire
her to
is
the
known
ship and,
for
like-
its fashion. They're
That's
they're
true.
fashion icons. So yeah, if you're looking for like and I'm getting Firefly flashbacks again. If you want to go full Kaylee on this and get a nice poofy dress, yeah, maybe Midge can be Captain Tight Pants and we can
Yes.
return with this.
Yeah, we'll say that we go pick out a tasteful dress for Morag that will also work with her suede belt of maiden bones. Needs to match.
Okay, if we have to.
Yeah. Fuck. What was the Julie Roberts movie where she's a prostitute?
Pretty Woman?
Pretty
Thank you.
woman.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you like early Julie Roberts in that movie, where like the woman's like, you can't afford this. You go in and you come back later. It's like, by the way, you're fired. No, you find a very nice, tasteful dress that the tailor there actually helps you incorporate your bone sash into. It's very lovely. It's it's kind of almost like an emerald green with a sheen to it, with some black kind of designs patterned into it, kind of almost giving it like almost a scale-like look to it. And that is 20 gold for that.
Okay.
So I'll mark that off. And yeah, he also includes a nice pair of boots. Yeah, and with Rami's help, your hair is pinned up, and you've cleaned recently thanks to the cleansing stone. So yeah, Morag is looking very fancy. Cyrus is in his armor.
Actually, I
When
think I'll do
Rami's-
like my dress blues, like fine clothes but not armor.
Cool.
So like noble men wear, I guess.
Yeah, you have
When
the
Rami
nobility
sees
for
me
that.
change, so Morag is really willow and tall, but when you get when I put my new dress on, you can see that all down my arms and all down like the length of my body are big runes that are like carved into my flesh, and there's like keloid like scar runes. That
Oh,
are
you
just,
have some like
running down.
scarification. Okay.
Yeah, that I just usually can't see because my clothes, but you can see them.
Okay.
Awesome.
Rami's just like zipping her up, just like, well, like,
Yeah.
like on her shoulder, just like trace one, like, huh.
Yeah.
As
that's
you do,
how
a
I-
demon is summoned.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oops.
It-
Rami's a
anyway,
warlock
happens.
now. Oops.
Yeah.
Terry's back.
Yeah, I'll have my sword but not my shield. So.
Okay.
And I'm dressed to impress.
All right. Anyone else? Anything for you guys?
I'm gonna stay dressed the same. I'll have my shield though too because it does have my Tinker's kit on it. So in case Prudence wants to get a little scientific.
Wants someone to tinker on her.
Whoa! I don't want to step in. Pondus. I want Pondus to fall in love, and I want him to stay here, and that'll be
Nobody's
After-
tinkering on anybody. That's no.
after the death fight, of course. We'll let him come in and throw some fireballs and then bail. after the death fight.
Rami, as I had said, brought like clothes that are just like way inappropriate for this weird adventure they're going on. So she has something like nice she can get dressed up in. She's just like very proud to like walk out with Mourning. Like, look how pretty we are.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you all are seated at dinner then.
And she brings Nathaniel with her, like in his little
gem, not just
a
raging fire elemental.
in his little gem. In his little gem.
Mourning, you almost look like a regular person. That's kind of strange.
Iris, she looks beautiful. You're supposed to compliment a lady, not be rude.
I did.
I think she would almost take offense to that.
Regular
person?
You say that you're.
Tell.
You say that you were raised as a nobleman, but you certainly don't act like it around ladies.
Ooh, I've been told. Put my place.
Rami's in a mood today. She got in an orc's face. She's in a mood.
Rami has a fire elemental. Dang.
Rami is a fire elemental.
Yeah. Yeah, you're all seated. Icar is there. He has changed. He actually is wearing something actually reminiscent of what Cyrus has. It is black, but it has a high collar, big silver buttons that kind of line a very militaristic looking jacket. None of the rest of his crew is there.
I brought my crew because, they're important to me. So I guess if he doesn't care about his crew, whatever.
Prudence is there. Pondus has cleaned up, and he's there as well. And Whistler also is wearing a tabard, a red tabard that I should have mentioned. I don't think I've necessarily said before. Whistler isn't just like a naked warforged walking around. He does actually wear clothes. So yeah, and you're all seated, and dinner is served. Is there any points of conversation you all like to have over dinner?
So, Mr. Icar of the Black, I hear you're an asshole. It's a fine. Sorry,
None of us said that. None of us. That wasn't us.
Look, I'm sorry.
Cyrus guffaws into his soup like.
I mean, yeah, I've had worse things said about me, but in a business like what I do, being called an asshole is kind of a point of pride.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't think you'd take too much offense to it, but
I'll definitely remember you said that.
Sure. Okay, I'm cool with that. So we went and we took a field trip over to see your pet. That's pretty magnificent. Magnificent haul you have there. That's nice.
Yeah, it really was a haul. Dragged that thing right out of the Mournlands.
Yeah, that's it.
Pain in the ass getting it, but it's worth it for what we get paid.
OG Warforged. Wow. That's. I'm sure you got paid quite a bit.
Yeah, and trust me, I would have loved to bring back one of those Titans, but if you can find one, they're filled with all sorts of nastiness, traps, and all sorts of things are living inside of them now. It's a real mess.
Oh, yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I could see why Saffir didn't want the poor little T-Rex to fight it.
Yeah, well, some people are just cowards.
Well,
it'll be a shame when it gets wrecked up tomorrow. I go back to eating my soup.
I mean, that's what I brought it for.
That's good. Well, you'll get paid. We'll get to see something we might have to deal with here soon in the Mournlands. And, yeah, good shit. I'm eating now, too.
Yeah, good shit.
Sanguina, anyone?
Sanguina.
Morag, what's your story?
He's interested in her now that she's like cleaned up a little bit.
Morag got hot, so now like.
Is Sixpence None the Richer playing in the background?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be complete if that wasn't the case.
My story is being written at the moment. It's unpublished, unfortunately. Nothing to say about me yet.
That's all right. I don't really like reading anyway.
That's hot.
Yeah, I know.
Illiteracy is.
It gets me going. Gets the juices flowing.
Man of action is what that means, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mourning likes to read books. You read books the entire train right over.
Yes,
here.
I do like to read books.
I hate reading. That's hot.
Yeah.
So you're being untruthful to yourself because you're like that infatuated with this guy. Is that what you're saying?
Or
It's
all
a
of her books
rom-com.
are about guys who do things and not
Don't read.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she has a warped view of masculinity? Question mark.
Yeah.
All right. You all are served as an appetizer. You all are given for your soup course a nice leek broth that is actually rather hearty. And for the main course, there is a pheasant dish, which you all find to be roasted and lovely. And some conversation takes place throughout. Prince Orgrev actually shows a level of interest towards Whistler specifically. By the dessert course, everybody's just kind of chatting, and there's a sense of jovialness to the hall. Prince Orgrev looks to all of you, says, so I should extend to you at least the my keep here and the rooms should you want to sleep here. I'm not sure exactly how you came into the city. I believe it was by airship, but you're more than welcome to use our facilities here, since you are going to be participating in our spectacle tomorrow.
Oh, maybe we do have our own airship, and I think I would like to check on Nathaniel before anything else.
Isn't he in your pocket?
Well, I can't talk to him.
Oh, that's right.
And Nathaniel is another one of your companions?
Yes.
I see.
You were really earnest with that, yes.
He is.
Yes.
All right then. Well, should any of you, like I said, wish to stay, you're more than welcome. I do hope that you don't scurry off in the middle of the night. We are expecting quite a show tomorrow for the folk around here. It means a lot to them to take their minds off of all that's happened. You understand?
We are not cowards.
We need
I
that map.
wouldn't imagine. Of course.
We had to state that we're not cowards. That's
That's exactly what a coward.
that's never mind. She's going through a lot right now, you know.
She's a teenager. Let her be like angsty, okay?
Yeah. Yep. You got
All
this.
right. So yeah, you all are free to do whatever you'd like. Rooms have been provided to you in the New Siren keep, and the morning will come soon enough where your battle will ensue. But you are informed about it, so that's nice.
Before we turn in, I'm assuming since this is like a castle, there's probably like a court jeweler around that does jewelry for the court. If there is such a person, can I go and see if I can buy some silver wire?
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that to Orgrev, and he makes his attendant, who is kind of known for acquiring and actually in a lot of ways restoring the jewelry that's found in the Mournland. So he's a bit of an archaeologist, but yeah, it's a human male, a little bit older. He has gray hair, like, kind of a small mustache, and he says, "Oh yes, silver wire. How much do you need?"
Probably about 3 feet, enough to weave a piece of jewelry.
Oh, all right. Well, let's see, 3 feet of silver wire. That's probably just 1 gold, just about.
I give him 2 gold.
Oh, thank you.
He's cute, old man, and I like him.
He blushes a little bit.
You said that out loud.
Yeah,
You're a cute old man. Here's a tip.
Yes. And then, because I do not sleep, I stay up all night weaving a silver wire necklace in which to put a jewel that can house an elemental to give to a certain party member in the morning.
Oh, Cyrus will love that.
It looks so cute.
Speaking of Cyrus, you have still been dragging along your Karnathi undead. Is there anything you wanted? And no one's really mentioned him, strangely enough.
Hey,
does he have a place at the table?
Icar's got like his undead buddies running around.
Yeah. Is there?
He didn't bring him to dinner though. Maybe that was bad for him.
Okay, so you left Hans behind. I was gonna say, is Hans still in the airship, or are you? Because we're coming up to the point where you're gonna have to try again.
Yeah, in the morning I'll have to re-up it. I'll say once we got room arrangements, I'd send for him to go there and to like take some of my things or whatever, my luggage, and then I want to stay up and like try and one up Icar's like war stories while we drink beer.
Okay. Yeah, there's in the main hall, there's a nice like really well decorated chimney, and you're both sitting there kind of trading war stories back and forth, and you know he's going, "You wonder how I got these scars?" And
Pop's otter pop, right? That's the going story. Cut your mouth on an otter pop.
Yeah. Okay. And let's see. Midge, what are you doing for the evening?
So I would first like to go and talk to Whistler, and see if he hey buddy, do you so tomorrow you said this thing really doesn't take a beating except for magical stuff. Do you have a magical weapon to be able to hurt this thing for yourself?
I do. I pulled one of the weapons from the individuals we killed on the train, and he shows you he has a vicious war pick.
Okay.
I imagine that this thing shall do very well at beating the shit out of that thing.
Okay, stupid cousin. I won't forget that. Yep, beating the hell out of your stupid cousin.
It's like a family reunion.
Yes, yeah, that seems about right. Okay, I just wanted to double check, because I could give you one if you didn't have one, but it would come at a slight cost to me. So, would be definitely willing to do so, but I just needed to know. And okay, I'm gonna go. Do some scouting of our situation, and I'll see you in the morning, sir.
I will watch the airship for the night, since I rest but do not sleep.
Great. Here. I will tap my shoulder, and Ahab will detach from the little makeshift backpack holder thing that he parks in, and it'll kind of float up, and I will tell him to go with to follow Whistler to the ship. Keep him company.
Thank you. I will appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. And yeah, I'll let you know if anything. Ahab will let you know if anything goes hanky down here in the city.
That will work out very well. Thank you.
You're welcome. You too. Have a good time. I will
right.
scurry off to... I want to go down to the pit. I want to go back to the pit and try to sneak with my cloak of elven kind. Try to sneak down to the...
you have a cloak of elven kind?
I do. It is one of my
three... it's an artificer thing. They can make...
That's right. That's right. Okay.
It's one of my three things.
Cool.
Yeah, it's Cloak of Elven Kind, Ahab, and then the sword I made for Cyrus.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to sneak down there and try to get kind of where we were. I'm picturing this like a rodeo. Do they have? Is it like a rodeo where they have it notched into an area and this thing sets in there like the pens, or you can kind of see from the stands?
A little bit more like gladiatorial. Think like Thor Ragnarok, with like the gates start to open, the Hulk barges out. It's more like that. It's a reveal. It's not like, oh, that's Old Thunder the bull. It's, ooh, I wonder what's coming out next. And yeah, so it's probably going to be more of revealed than anything else. So as of right now, the Warforged Titan is behind lock and key since it is night.
Okay, so it's not in the same area that it was before.
Well, it's in the pens. The pens are kind of this enclosed area next to the arena itself. So you all would enter through a gate on one side, and then the gates that lead to the pens would open up, and this thing would then be let out and ushered through.
Sure. Okay, I just want to get close to it, not like up against it. So I don't know the exact layout of how that would work, but I do want to, see if I can get close enough to it that I'm like 20 feet or so away from it.
Do you have to be within eyesight?
Yes. Probably.
Okay.
Yes.
You would have to open a door then. The doors are locked right now. So if you want to lockpick, or you do have your chime/key of opening.
Yeah, I'm just gonna lockpick. I'm gonna use my advantage, my last advantage here for that. And I do like to do a lockpick check.
Cool. Yeah, you are successfully able to open the main door that you were able to get through before, not the large kind of like arena door, but yeah, the door that the guards were previously protecting. You're able to get through, and without too much trouble, you're able to make it up to the Titan. There's not a lot of the thing's not activated at this point, and there's not a lot of people around.
He. Okay, so I want to pull one of my stones out of my pebble pouch, and I want to use my magical tinkering on it to make it smell like strange monster flesh, kind of reminiscent of the Cerberus-like dog creature that I took the samples from earlier.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, Brett. Appreciate it. Welcome to the initiative. And take one of the pebbles and make it smell like that, and then I want to try to throw it up towards its face. Yeah.
Are you trying to like?
I'm trying to see if it wakes up.
It does not react to that. The pebble tinks off of its head and kind of just ding, 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 ding.
Interesting. All right. I don't want to hurt it because I don't want to be like, this is just a recon. This is not a sabotage. I believe in fair play. Somewhat in fair play. All right. I think that might be, you know what? Maybe I might have one other thing. Okay. So I'm going to get ready to do two things. And then I'm going to be out. Fudge. Okay, that might work. I want to take out my little pseudo dragon statue, and I want to put the two little pink. What's like the gem that's pink? I forget.
Morganite.
Like tourmaline.
Rose quartz.
Whatever one of those pink gems. I want to put it in one of its eye sockets, and then aim it towards the contraption, and it takes a second or so, and then it starts the little pseudo dragon starts spewing out this glitter. It's like glitter bombing. I want to cast fairy fire on the creature, and just kind of blow it up with glitter and see if it reacts.
It does not.
Okay, well then I am going to quickly, after I see if it does or doesn't, I'm going to cast invisibility and leave.
So is this thing now covered in glitter?
It was covered in glitter, but I left concentration drop of the spell.
Okay.
To cast invisibility, so all that shit should have gone away.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's just it's the artificer wants you to flavor all the stuff with contraptions.
Somebody glittered up our monster.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is your smelly rock still there?
Yeah. The rock is on the ground there. Yeah. But
okay.
Yeah, there is a smelly rock there.
Smelly rock.
Let me see if I
looked
remember.
The smelly rock and glittered our robot. What the fuck?
I can shut that off as well, but let me see if Midge remembers it, because he's kind of in the moment. So
damn vandals.
There's
yeah.
no TP in this world, so they have to do something.
Yeah, smelly rocks.
Vandalize. Yeah,
No
smelly
TP in
rocks.
this world either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
can't-
remember to shut the rock
Right.
off. Then.
Okay.
So, yeah, as I'm leaving, I shut the turn the rock off, my magical tinkering off, and then quickly turn invisible, turn invisible, and yeah, and I'll just bail and come back to Ograve's estate tower thing.
Okay. So you're staying in the room provided.
Yeah. I want to sleep. I want to make sure I get enough sleep. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, and Rami, anything for you before we begin the morning?
Yeah, she did want to go back to the ship, even just for a little bit, to redeposit Nathaniel, so she'd be able to talk to him.
Okay. Yeah, you walk back with Whistler and with Ahab, and yeah, you get back. You're able to transfer Nathaniel into his dragon shard once again, and by once again connecting to the ship, you're able to speak with him.
Were you able to hear and see everything while we were out and about today? Or could you not?
I could see some things. It was hard to tell what. I could hear muffled voices.
Oh.
Was I meant to pay attention? I apologize.
Oh, no, it's okay. I just wanted to test it and see if you could, because I was trying to show you some things, but it's okay. It's not a big deal.
What did you mean to show me?
Just around the town and stuff, so you could see it and not just be. I don't imagine you get to go see things very often.
I can see through your eyes now. If you remember what you saw, I can see it now.
Oh, well, I guess the biggest thing is, we have to fight something tomorrow because we have to get a map, and there's this really rude guy that Cyrus doesn't like, and we
Should
have
I burn him?
Well, not the person, because then we would get in trouble, and there's probably laws against that. But we have to fight this big monster that he brought from the Mourning. It's this big metal monster thing, like even bigger than Whistler.
It's hard to eat metal.
So I just wanted to let you know that I might maybe need your help with that tomorrow, if it comes to it. Because we're all gonna work together, but
I will do whatever you ask.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to give you some warning and context, just so you would know.
You are a strange master.
Yeah, I think I've been called strange already once today.
I don't mean it as a bad thing.
Well, I appreciate you clarifying, because I'm pretty sure the other person did. I just want to. I don't want you to get hurt or anything, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, we will see what happens.
All right, and then she'll. Is everyone else staying in the keep?
Everyone except for Whistler and Ahab. Whistler and Ahab are going to watch the ship.
Okay. She'll probably.
Is it uncomfortable for you to be in the small one as opposed to the big one in the ship, Nathaniel? Or is it the same?
I can occupy any space without pain.
Okay. Well, I'll just take you back to the keep with me then. Because that's where everyone else is staying.
And she'll just go back in there and like put him in there and in the gym and
transfer him back for the gym. Once again, you feel that warmth kind of like surge through you, and you see once again the gem kind of has this glowing, swirling energy within it.
Yeah, and she'll just go back to the keep and find her room.
Yeah, as you're walking the streets, everything's pretty quiet at this point. There's not a lot of movement. It's getting to be dark. You see a couple of the town guards with their Everbright lanterns. They nod to you. You make it back to the keep without any issue. As you're making it to your room, go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
Where is that? There we go.
23.
As you're making it back to your room, you hear distinctly the sound of someone crying.
Oh no. Where?
It's Cyrus.
It's like in the hallway. Just in the hallway.
You're able to track the noise, and it leads to a door you haven't been through before. It's simple wooden door as far as castle doors go, but the sound is very distinctly coming from behind this.
Is it more of like a masculine, deeper tone? Or
It is
like...
masculine, yeah.
Sure. And the doors are shut?
They are.
So, and this is just in the area where people are staying? Like these are like bedroom kind of situations?
It's in the general hallway. It's kind of off from the throne room, the great hall. It's kind of like on one side is the dining room. On the other side, if you would go down, that's where it went to the laboratory. You go up, and there's the hall where there's rooms, but this door is distinctly different from any of the suites.
She'll just kind of listen for a second and like make sure it's coming from this room and just give a quiet little knock on the door.
You give a knock, and you hear on the other side the distinct voice of Prince Orgrev, and you hear him kind of, yes, who is it?
It is Ramiel, sir. Your guest. Is everything okay?
And you, for a second, hear a couple of footsteps, and the door opens just slightly, and he's very clearly, face is red and eyes are bloodshot. He says, yes, everything's fine. Thank you for checking on me. Just having a moment.
Are you okay? Is something wrong? What is the matter?
Please come in. And he kind of ushers you into. It's a library. As far as you can tell, the walls are lined with various leather-bound books. There's fire going in the corner, and some nice couches. And he sits on one and kind of offers for you to sit on the one opposite him. And he says, "You're very young, aren't you?"
Yes, sir.
I can't imagine that you saw much of the war. Perhaps you lost something. I don't want to assume. I'm a young person myself. I haven't even seen 30 years on this earth, and yet I have lost so very, very much. It's been 5 years since I lost my entire family. My wife, our unborn child, my mother. Sometimes it just, at night, when things are quiet, it hits a little harder than it does any other time.
Oh. I'm so sorry. I can only imagine what it's like to lose people who are close to you like that.
I don't mean to. I'm supposed to be this big ruler, this person who has to save a people who have already lost everything, and I'm supposed to put on a brave face for all of it. I wonder if I'm doing the right thing sometimes.
Maybe that's just another way you can empathize and relate to your people. They all lost just as much as you did.
That's a good point.
If anything, that should make you a better, more understanding ruler, even though it came from such a terrible place. My mom always said that if there were too many steps in the way and there's too much difference between the lowest common person and the highest person, then they're not going to be a good ruler because they won't understand.
Your mother sounds like a very wise person.
She is.
You have quite a lot of wisdom yourself.
Oh, I don't know about that, but thank you for saying so.
Thank you for listening. You're a very good listener. I don't like to burden people that already work for me or serve under me, and too infrequently is anyone here that actually cares.
Well, it's always important to make friends, and you can't always be the strongest pillar. Everyone always needs someone to lean on. Even if you are the big brave face of your people, you still need to have someone you can trust and talk to. That's not a weakness. If anything, that gives you a stronger foundation.
Thank you, Ramiel. I really very much appreciate that. And he actually sticks his hand out towards you.
She'll extend her own.
And he clasps it with both of his hands. He says, I can't tell you how much this has meant. And I want to know I want to let you know how much I appreciate you being here for me. And yes, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And he kind of like looks down at himself and realizes like, oh fuck, I'm a king. He goes, well, you should
She'll,
probably
fish some little handkerchief like out from some pocket or something and offer it to him and stand herself up. And
he takes the dries and says, yes, you should probably be getting to your room, get some sleep. I believe that tomorrow will bring many things. Hopefully all good.
It's going to be an interesting day, that's for sure.
Yes, one can only hope. Thank you again.
And she'll just give a polite little curtsy and excuse herself from the room.
All right. Anything else anyone wants to do before tomorrow?
Say, on her way back to her room, she comes across Cyrus and Icar, who are both kind of drunk and singing like Carnathy drinking songs, and like kind of like friend argumenting at each other. Cyrus says something along the lines, "I hope your robot fights better than you drink, otherwise no one's going to be entertained tomorrow."
Mr. Alderman Cyrus?
Hey, Remy, you're too young for a beer. Well, maybe a little watered down one.
I could let her drink if she wants to drink. Don't tell
You're not
anybody.
the boss of me. You said so already.
Don't tell anybody how to live your life. What?
Cyrus is trying to like parade march around, and like Icar is like berating him on it because he's drunk and stumbling.
I'm not as drunk as you think I am.
Cyrus, maybe you should get to bed soon. We have to be up early.
I gotta strategize for the big thing tomorrow. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of strategies. You hear that, Icar? We're gonna have a strategy.
It looks like you've done plenty of strategizing for the evening, Cyrus. Come on.
Well, could you? I don't remember where it is. That's the truth. I forgot.
We'll find your room. I'm sure Hans is waiting for you.
All right.
Come on.
Tell Icar, I hope you're ready to get another scar, not on your face tomorrow, on your honor.
He goes, hey, older boy, strategize this.
Oh, no.
Remy's just trying, like, come on, Cyrus is like holding his arm, like, come on.
Cyrus puts up his dukes.
No.
Possible.
Just like walking him out of the room, like, no.
Don't make you do a Constitution saving throw.
She'll-
Don't puke
she'll-
on Remy.
She'll deposit Cyrus in his room if he will let her.
Just a short shove, and yeah, he goes in.
He just goes face down on the bed and like mumbles like in a muffled way, Hans, stand guard.
Hopefully you wake up enough to rebind him in the morning and don't oversleep.
Oh fuck! Just in the middle of the night.
Yeah, Cyrus awakes to skeletal hands about his throat.
Either I'll wake up enough to rebind him, or he'll wake me up. It's a win-win.
All right. Dawn does come. I guess, yeah, let's go ahead and have Cyrus make a Constitution saving throw, and we'll see if he wakes up on time.
Oh, for me? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cyrus is a soldier who can hold his liquor.
Hardy fellow. Yeah, he wakes up, he's got a dry, kind of sticky mouth and a bit of a headache, but yeah, he does wake up on time. A bit of a jolt as Hans is standing over him, not looking at him, but looking straight. It's just empty, hollow, skeletal eyes staring straight ahead.
So there's the ability. You want me to roll that now for Hans?
Yeah, go ahead and have him make a wisdom save.
Oh my god!
Uh-oh.
Why is he so good at everything all the time? Do I have any advantages? Am I all out of advantages?
Let's see. So as an action,
you're out of.
I can give myself one. I've got enough channel points.
If you have to destroy him, we'll just go to the gladiator pile and get you a fresh one.
That's not how that
works.
Do I need to give myself advantage?
If you want to.
Yeah, I do. I'll do it. There we go.
We're
gonna need Hans for this.
Okay. Then we'll say that he rolled the 9 then, so Hans is back under your control once again.
Excellent.
And all right. So yeah, it is nearly time for the battle. An Orgrevian attendant sees to all of you and says, "Is there anything that I can prepare for you for your impending battle? Do you want to write home to any loved ones? Any weapons we can provide? Armor?"
Maybe I should write a letter to my mom just so she knows I'm okay.
I mean, I think this is the kind of letter you send your mom to let her know you might not be okay anymore.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Has Ramiel sent anything to her mom yet, or has it been several days of Rami missing, going "Hi, Mom, I'm in New Siren. I might die."
She left. She pinned the little note to her owlbear plushie, and she hasn't written anything since. She probably is going to write a letter now, just because now things are getting serious, and everyone's telling me how terrifying everything in the future is, and this is also terrifying. So
I made friends with a prince.
Support. Yeah,
I'm friends with a prince. I have a Pokemon. It's some stuff's going on, Mom. Yeah, she'll just write a little letter to her mom. Doesn't want to say exactly where she is because she's more concerned about her mom trying to leave and find her.
Are you afraid of having an onward situation?
Yeah, exactly. No onward.
You're gonna get cut in half.
Just saying that she's.
He hasn't seen Onward yet. We haven't seen Onward yet. No spoilers.
You
that
guys
happens
have to
though,
watch
right?
it.
Somebody's cut in half.
No, just no.
He doesn't know. We don't know.
You guys
yet.
have to watch it.
Okay, we will.
She'll just not mentioning locations where they are or even necessarily where they're headed, just explaining that she's making friends, that she is safe, she's being fed and taken care of, and all those
a kidnap letter. Okay.
No.
Written by someone with Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
I made friends. I'm
Cuts out pieces of a magazine and puts it all together. Oh, it's so pretty.
I learned
that's
how
what your
to-
mom wants when you run away from home.
She learned how to fly an airship, and that's cool. But don't worry, she's very safe and has very trusting people with her. Everything's okay. That she misses her, and that she will write us again as soon as she can.
Okay. All right. The attendant takes that letter and says, "I will make sure that this is delivered. And I'm going to, Sean. It should arrive in a day or two."
Okay. Is it going to say on there where it came from?
It will probably say the post box from New Sire. Yes, that's where it's being delivered from.
Is there any way it couldn't say that?
I suppose. Is this supposed to be going through back channels?
Well, I don't.
Are you mad in poison?
What?
Did I touch poison?
No, no,
Am I poisoned?
it's fine. No, it's fine. I promise. I don't. I don't want the recipient to try to follow me here, because I don't want. I want to make sure she stays home.
Yes. All right. Well, I will. I'll give this to one of our personal mail carriers then, and it won't go through official channels. We'll deliver it in the middle of the night with no one around.
Okay.
Like a shadow. No one will see.
The mail carrier's trying to make his job sound way cooler than it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Rain, sleet, snow, or hail. Deliver a letter in a tornado.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, that's me.
I didn't
Quite
like
a
that.
mission indeed.
Now this guy's gonna have his own little mini
He's probably got his
campaign,
hand
on
out.
his way to Sharn.
Is he looking for a tip?
She'll pay him, and she'll even tip him extra since he's doing this special backlog thing.
All right. Anyone else?
How much time do we have until the fight?
About an hour.
I'll just go up to Rami and I hold out this silver wire woven necklace and I say, by the light of the moons, I have woven this for you. It is both stylish and functional. It's to hold your Nathaniel gem.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yes,
Oh.
it is.
Laura, thank you so much. And she'll just fish Nathaniel out of her pocket and try to set him in there.
Yeah. The wires you can slide the gem in and then the wires hold it.
Oh wow. That's perfect. Thank you so much.
She'll
No, you don't have
ask
to
for
keep them
help
in your
to
pocket.
I don't know if there's a clasp or something.
Sure,
I'll just,
there's a clasp.
ask for help to put it on.
It's very like Game of Thrones Melisandre. You now have this almost kind of choker sort of necklace with this glowing red gem on your chest, and actually, yeah. Now that you have Nathaniel there, the gem itself does give off a sense of warmth, and you feel a much closer connection to Nathaniel. You can almost we'll say when it's in the necklace, especially with Morag's inherent magical abilities, you're able to converse with Nathaniel when it is in this, as opposed to when it was in your pocket.
Mm-hmm. She's very happy, and she will even if she can sense that inherent connection with him, if she can when she's in the ship and everything, she'll try to find some sort of a mirror and get Nathaniel's attention. It's
look, Morag made a necklace for you. Now you can stay very close to me.
That is a good thing.
And we can talk now.
Just let me know when you want me to burn something.
Okay, I will.
Hopefully it smells better there than in her pocket.
Yeah.
I kind of imagine that Rami's pockets are full of candy,
Yeah.
You got me. Smells like fruit gushers in there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give Morag a big hug and.
Just for flavor, I'd like to. Midge is gonna wake up and he's gonna do something, and then he's gonna be excited to show people and talk to people about it. And he's gonna run up to Ramiel and Morag. They're standing there. Rami, I made you this necklace.
Oh no!
I see you already have one. I just. Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. It's not finished yet anyway, so it's okay. I was just started a necklace and I.
Oh no, Kyle!
No, it's okay. It's okay. I didn't realize that you had one last night. I didn't see it, so I thought I'd wake up and do it this morning, but I realized that okay.
Poor Mitch.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go fix it. I'm gonna go fix it. Maybe we'll make it a backup.
But if you turn it into a bracelet, and she could change up her look a little bit.
Yeah, but yours is it? I'm assuming you did that because it's sexy,
Yeah.
creepy kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rami, you don't own her soul now, right? Like that's not what this necklace is about, is it? This isn't a bad thing.
No. Damn it!
keep
I always
Nathaniel.
forget about that.
It's to keep Nathaniel safe.
Oh, okay.
No,
Look at
Midge will get a big hug anyway.
yeah, I look a bit embarrassed because that was the plan, was to wake up in the morning, and then Jillian was saying that. I'm like, oh shit. Well, you know what? I still need to go through it. I still need to go through it because he doesn't know.
He's so considerate of Ramio.
I could use the necklace to hold my blood files.
Oh.
Ooh, I
don't know.
Leather belts for that, but I can make something more stylish than.
You've got like a mutant finger if you want like attach that to necklace. That is very Morag chic.
That is. She can guess the finger before. Yeah.
It's good luck charms.
Yeah.
Use it to pick your teeth. You know?
I'll try to.
Derek.
Let the nail grow out.
Yes.
It still grows even though it's been detached.
Yes.
Everyone's trying so hard to take care of Rami, and it warms my
heart. Well, I'm gonna go find Cyrus. I have news for him as well, and and then I'll be back, and we'll.
We're congregating. We'll go as well.
Oh, cool, excellent.
All right, so we all group up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pontus, Whistler, and Ahab are all there. Whole gang's together.
Is there any questions you would like answered for the fight ahead? Before the battle, I can augur and see if we can glean any information.
Is it this the same way as you did for me before? We can only ask yes or no questions?
Yes, especially something that's within the next half an hour would be the most precise way of getting an answer. So if you want to ask about a certain strategy or find out something you were thinking of doing during the fight, whether it's good or bad.
Mr. Cyrus was up very late last night strategizing. Perhaps you would like to ask a question about it.
No, I've got the strategy. We're all good. We don't need the opinion of some hag 1,000 miles away.
I mean, it's not just some hag. It's
shit.
A specific hag.
Maybe we should at least discuss the strategy amongst each other.
Yeah.
So
Are
we
you
all
going
know.
to summon Terry? Is he going to be a part of this? Can you control him?
Maybe I'll lay out my bones on the earth and I'll cast augury and just try to ask if I summon the Turok. What was the
Hanoruk.
If they will give me more information about him and if his name is Terry or not. Is his name Terry?
Definitely
Terry
a pseudonym.
His name. If I combine him with his name. Woe or wheel using the name Terry.
When you say Terry, it is woe. It's yeah. But you also get the sense that it's woe because the name is incomplete.
Oh.
It's Terrence.
Okay. So maybe I'll try. Or maybe I'll try a long form when I summon him and see if that helps.
All right. Well, how long can you hold him when you summon him?
Until he breaks free of my will.
Or like an hour or minutes?
It's an hour if I can find him for it.
Well, here's the plan, gang. Me, Whistler, Hans, and Terry will
Terabithia, maybe
I don't think
Terabithia?
that's his name.
That's it. Common name in Groab.
I will say I do have a full name for Terry. It is not a common name. So yes, if you would like to discover the name, there
You'll
is
have to
one.
play hangman and keep guessing until you get it.
Rumpelstiltskin-esque.
Yeah. So yes, Whistler, me, Terry, if we're doing Terry, and Hans will occupy the robot. The rest of you spread out and stay away from it. Midge, you're on support duty. If anyone gets hurt, make sure you heal him up real good. Morag and Rami, hit it with everything you've got.
Nathaniel said he'd help if I asked him to.
Yeah.
I'd like to buy us a few initial seconds. So I spent a little time last night, and I went down and visited our new mechanical friend, and it doesn't really respond to anything, I think, until it's turned on. Yeah, so unfortunately for us, that means that someone's probably going to be giving it orders and can adjust to our tactics. Probably your buddy. But that also means that it's inherently stupid itself. So that's also a good thing. I'm thinking if we roll in like I'm not even there, I'll come in invisible and I'll just kind of huddle with you guys. I'll pop out. I'll throw one of my I think I've got it fine-tuned that I can throw a T-Rex out. And if I throw an illusionary T-Rex out and at least get this creature to react to it before it can receive a new command, maybe that'll buy us a few seconds.
That should allow us to deploy. The melee's team's job will be to keep it occupied and keep it from attacking anybody else. Just make sure you guys stay safe.
Yeah, and make sure your zombies know, and I'll tell Whistler that T-Rex isn't real, and yeah. So
he's here for this meeting, right?
Yeah.
Like Whistler's standing there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Wow, yeah, it's true. Yeah. Sorry.
And is Pondus gonna fight?
Yeah, actually, when you're kind of like doling out everything, he's kind of just Am I part of this? What should I do?
Do you think it's safe for you to be a part of this?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You don't have to if you don't want to, Pondus.
We're gonna need as much help as we can get. This is a team effort.
I will stand with you. I feel a little sheepish about my actions on the lightning rail, and I will fight.
Cyrus puts a gauntleted hand on his shoulder and says, I believe you can do this, Pondus. Do your best to protect Rami and Morag.
I'll be very high up in the air during all of this. So.
Yeah, he leans towards Morag and goes, "Can you protect me instead?"
Do you have range spells? You can ride on the back of my broom.
Okay. That can we? Am I riding bitch? Is that?
Yeah.
Where you always belong.
They need to get like a sidecar for Morag's broom.
Yeah.
Like
it can carry 400 pounds.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh,
Terry could ride bitch on your broom.
Yeah.
The speed of it.
This is magical.
I'm so happy.
He starts singing "I Can Show You the World."
Yeah.
All right, I think we're ready. Let's go kill a murderous robot.
Mecha
All right. Okay. You all are ushered into the waiting area of the ring. Essentially, large stone doors stand before you. The doors kind of creak open as you hear the roaring of this crowd just as you walk onto the stone and sand of the arena floor. Everywhere you look, all of the citizenry are about. Everyone's cheering. Each of you very, gladiator-like, stroll onto the towards the center of the arena floor. You see above you and kind of behind, there's this press box sort of attachment where Prince Orgrev is standing and kind of clapping towards you. He has a seat behind him. Icar the Black is actually sitting up there as well. He has this really nasty smile on his face, and once again, it's just him. It's not any of the other guys. And there's a couple of other attendants, some of the people you saw just walking about the hall, very official-looking folk that are all kind of sitting up there. And as you make your way to the center of the ring, Orgrev kind of announces you all. He says, "These brave champions have chosen to participate in today's spectacle and bring you citizens of New Saya, entertainment and joy for however long they may stand. Give them your applause. And once again, the crowd kind of erupts. The enemy that they will face today is one seen only in Sire before today. Some of you may recognize this monstrosity, this beast of iron and rage. I present to you a Titan. And he extends his arm, and the doors opposite you at the far end of the arena start to open slowly. And you kind of feel, even at the distance you are, the ground start to shake a little bit with these steps. And this thing comes lurching, just one step, boom, another step, boom. And it makes its way into the arena. And once again, this thing it's huge, is the size. It's bigger than a hill giant. It is the size of a fire giant, essentially. And you notice that it isn't totally alone. That actually, as Whistler mentioned, these things can be ridden upon. And there are two individuals that are now riding inside of its chassis. They are partially defended by the metal that this thing gives as a defense, and inside are the two Carnathi undead that you saw accompanying Icar the Black.
Vic and Mick.
Vic and Mick. They are both armed with longbows, and they have placed themselves in the defenses of this thing. Once again, it is now standing much taller than you saw before, where it was kind of hunched over. It has one long arm with a sweeping kind of axe blade, and the other arm is this pulverizing kind of piston fist. And its eyes now are glowing a bright red as the steam emits from the grill of its mouth area. And we got a little bit of time, so let's roll for initiative.
I'm invisible, by the way.
Okay.
Cast invisibility, but right before we came out.
Okay.
Are we saying Hans just goes after me, or do you want me to roll his own initiative?
We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, since he's under your control.
Oh, before you roll yours, I'd like to give you. I'd like to use one of my freshly re-upped Flash of Geniuses for your initiative roll.
For who?
For you.
Okay, so I got 14 then.
Yeah. If you use your left foot, then your right foot, sir. Your left foot, then your right foot.
Darn it! I always forget.
You're faster if you do it that way.
Glad I've got Ninja around to help me with those kind of things.
And last one is the Titan.
Yay for slow.
There. Lots of sheets. All right. 8. The Titan was 4, and Whistler was 13. Okay. So it's going to be Morag, Cyrus, Mick and Vic, and then Whistler, Ramiel, Pondus, and finally the Titan will go last. All right. So let's start at the top of the order. Morag.
All right, so I walk out and I take the vial of blood off my belt. I stick my finger in it and I draw some big runes in the air, and this blood just stays in the air as I draw the runes. And then I summon, and from the blood runes breaks out of nothingness my old friend, our old friend, Terrence. And he comes out, and for now, he's listening to me, and I tell him, attack that thing. Do not stop attacking that thing until it is dead. And
Okay.
that'll be my action. And then I kind of just mount my broom, and I kind of look back at Pondus, and his turn. Maybe he'll get on, and maybe he won't. We'll see. We're on the ground for now.
Okay. And we'll say, yeah, you can use your movement with Pondus. Okay. So let's go ahead and summon your Tanaruk then. And we'll say its turn goes after yours, so go ahead and take your attack.
All right. So we're definitely within 30 feet of this thing yet now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You all met at the center of the arena.
So he is going to run up and bite it, because why not?
We already established the first thing you do is take something when you're doing stuff.
So that probably won't do it.
Yeah, the Tanaruk goes charging up with its club and grabs onto one of the thick armored legs and just is like kind of gnawing at it, to no effect.
So he brings his greatsword out instead.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it takes a swipe with its greatsword. I guess this is a question. Its greatsword isn't necessarily magical, is it?
I don't think so, and it doesn't say that like his attacks are magical. He has magic resistance himself.
Okay.
But it does not say anything about his attacks being magical. So this is probably
well, his attack does hit.
Okay. So he'll do some damage there. Did that work? No. Click. There we go.
There it is. Okay. So he will do 3 points of damage then.
Good job, Jonathan.
Think more infernal.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. It is now Mick and Vic's turn, and they are going to take attacks with their longbow. And since the Tanaruk has rushed forward, they are going to shoot at him.
No, Terry, he's my favorite.
So I'm guessing the 18 hits, the 6 doesn't.
Oh, am I able to? Oh, they get a 15 too.
Sorry, I was reading something and I missed that. Were you affecting?
He's shooting 10, Terry.
What is the Tanaruk's AC?
His AC is of 14.
Okay, so one of those hits, the Tanaruk is going to take 3 piercing damage as an arrow comes lodging into his upper musculature.
An arrow, so not a melee attack?
It is not a melee attack.
Okay. He looks mad, but not mad enough to hit back.
And it is Cyrus's turn.
I will rush in, shield and sword drawn and ready.
Kyle, what's up?
Shouldn't I have gone after Jill?
Where did I have? I don't even think I wrote yours down. What was your?
He tied Jillian, so he should go.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I completely I wrote a lot of people.
You know, it's because he's invisible.
Yeah. I'm trying not to be noticed, so yes, you never saw anything.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. That was the hopes is to get high initiative so that I can go in and toss use the square, the red and white pokey square, and slap the top of it. I'm not going to say anything this time because I don't want them to know where I'm at. And the card just I'm going to slide it right in front of the monster thing, and let's see what the card does. Let's see here. And since it's not a spell or attack, it shouldn't break my invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I draw a card from this thing?
If you hover over it, over the deck, you can deal.
Deal. Okay. Deal 1 card. You must deal at least 2. Oh, okay. I got to designate a player.
Drag it.
Yeah, you can deal it to me if you need.
All players.
Or I can deal it to you. It's going to happen either way.
Okay, I think for me to be able to see, for everybody to be able to see what it is. Ran out of cards in the deck before dealing cards to all players. Oh, wait, no. 1 card to... Oh, shit.
Are we playing poker?
Yeah, I don't... Okay, so dealing 1 card to me. We'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Ran out of cards. Why am I out of cards? It won't let me deal card.
Let's see.
It won't let me deal one card, so it's saying that there's none there? Okay, I clicked and dragged one, so
Okay.
it let me do that. So a Queen of Diamonds, which by the looks of it is a Night Hag? I'm guessing
Yes.
Mommy.
No more, don't. No.
It's not real. Doing
I like
psychic
prostrate.
damage to Mourning.
I throw myself on the ground.
Yes.
Supplication.
So from out of the card pops this this Night Hag, and she is going to threateningly ooga booga booga.
That's exactly what they say.
Yeah.
That's racist.
I'll kill all of you. And
Get out of my swamp, you kids.
Yeah, there you go.
Looks have it so that she's like charging a fireball up in her hand and looking straight up at the creature. And
Okay.
that's gonna be my action, and then I will just kind of slink back to the group who hasn't gone yet, and kind of towards the back of it, and plan my next maneuver. And that's it. For my turn.
Cool. Okay. So now we are at Cyrus.
Yep. I'll rush in. Cyrus bashes his shield with his sword, trying to get the attention of the big thing as he runs into melee range.
Yeah, it's kind of trying to split attention between you and the Night Hag that's just appeared.
Yep.
It seems to be charging a fireball.
And then I guess I will make a regular radiant longsword attack. 22 to hit.
That hits.
And then, oops, no, that's to hit. I want to click that for the damage. Okay,
Cool.
So 16 magical slashing.
Okay.
I will drop a first level smite on it. So that's an extra 2d8 unless it's undead, which I don't think it is, right?
It is not.
Okay. So 2d8 for that. Extra 10 radiant damage.
Okay.
And then my second attack, 21 to hit.
Mhm.
And another 13 slashing.
All right. Yeah, you're hacking at this thing's legs, and actually, as you are slicing with your sword, the radiant damage that you're able to charge and the energy, you're actually slicing at a lot of the kind of wiring and the support struts, and this thing seems to actually be taking a significant amount of damage from at least in the area that you're hitting from these attacks.
And then I'll have Hans. I guess we'll stick with the plan for now. I didn't know they'd have skeletal archers, but I'll trust Remy and Mourning to deal with that. I'll have Hans make some melee attacks.
Okay.
So we're going to do longsword two-handed.
Okay, that one will hit.
And then 14 probably doesn't
It
hit.
does not.
And then his third one, 21.
Yep, so 2 of those will hit.
2. Let's see, so it's a d10 plus 7 because he's in my aura. So 2 d10s. Gross. And then plus 14. So he did 20 damage. And
Okay.
his is non-magical.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of damage my aura does. It probably just enhances the damage he already does without adding anything to it, I would imagine.
Right. So he'll do 10 damage. All right, and it is now Whistler's turn. Whistler is going to run in with all of you and take some attacks at this thing. So he's going to make 2 attacks with his Vicious War Pick. And one of those will hit. So he's going to do 2 damage towards it.
Get it.
And now it is Ramiel's turn.
Cyrus says he never imagined he'd be fighting side by side with a red cloak at Whistler as he comes up.
And Whistler looks, what about side by side with a friend?
Oh,
Yeah.
what the fuck? That's beautiful. He doesn't have a strength mod?
Did he not?
He didn't get a strength mod.
No, he didn't. Okay. So that'd actually be 7 points then.
Oof.
Yeah, for some reason this thing doesn't. When I drop stuff on it, it doesn't care.
That sounds.
It doesn't.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will have to just hit +5. It even says +5. That's weird. Okay. we'll figure it out later.
I gotta remember that Hans gets advantage because he's got pack tactics. It wouldn't have made any difference, but I just need to remember it for next time.
Okay. All right. And now it is Ramiel's turn.
Okay, Zoom didn't want to unmute for a second. Ramy's going to bust out some methods because there's a lot less explosive stuff here this time, but they'll still probably little fire bastards still help out. So I'm gonna cast Conjure Minor Elementals. How do I send that to chat there? There we go. And yeah, she'll summon her 4 methods, I think. Yeah, I think she gets 4 at their...
What challenge rating are they?
I'm trying to see it on their character sheet. I think it was 4 last time.
Oh, it's not 4. I think it's 2. I think the highest you
they're,
can do.
They're 1/2.
Oh, you get 8 of those, I think. Oh, no, 4 of those.
4 elementals of challenge ranging half or lower. Yeah, so she gets 4 methods.
Okay.
And she'll summon them, and there's a thing on their character sheet here that says summon methods once a day. And it says they have a 25% chance of summoning more, and I don't know if that works if I'm summoning them.
Yeah, I mean, you can control them and I guess see if they can summon more. That's kind of the thing about methods is they tend to multiply.
Perpetuate, yeah.
Okay. Says they have a 25% chance of summoning 1d4 methods. Okay.
So each of those 4 can summon them, or
they can each of the 4 can summon, because that's just in their actions.
That's awesome.
Each of the 4 can summon 1d4.
So is it a 25%? You said?
Yeah, it's a 25% chance.
Okay.
So should I roll a d4 if they land on like a 4?
Pick a number between 1 and 4, and then roll that d4.
Let's say 2.
Okay.
Just for fun. There we go.
Just for fun. Yeah, your methods can summon more methods.
And then it's a d4 also, so...
Oh my gosh, I hope you have a scratch paper with you. Just like track all of these methods.
Yeah, dog, I heard you like methods, so I got some methods for your methods.
Yeah.
Now, is that 2 each, or is that 2 altogether? Or
so you rolled for one method. Did succeed on its 25% chance, so you now have 6 methods.
Okay.
And they told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends.
Math. So...
If you want the other 3 to roll.
Okay. We'll stick with 2. See if 2 is still a lucky number then for them. Okay, no, that one didn't.
Okay.
That one didn't. And that one didn't. Okay, so there's 6 methods.
Mm-hmm. You have 6 methods.
Yeah. And did they go on my turn, or did we roll them their own initiative order last time?
They'll go after your turn.
Okay.
Yeah, which essentially, since that was most of their turns, you have 2 of them that, I guess, since they were just summoned, they'll have to go in the next round.
Okay. That's what Ramy does. She summons those guys.
Right. Ramy's just encircled by these flaming.
Fire.
Yeah. All right. It is Pondus's turn, and it is his first time in battle ever. So what does he want to do? Pondus is going to cast Fireball at the Warforged Titan. And he's going to cast it at level 3. All right, so this thing needs to make a DC 15 dexterity save. I don't think it's that dexterous. All right. Okay. So this thing is going to take 26 points of damage as Pondus basically, very imitationally of the Night Hag, summons this large ball of fire and just Hadoukens it towards this Warforged, blasting it with this fire energy. And okay, now it is the Titan's turn. The Titan is going to take a sweeping axe attack. So let's see who's all up in its grill. That is
Me,
Cyrus,
Hans, Whistler,
Tanaruk.
and the
and
Tanner.
the Tanner.
Okay, all four of you need to make dexterity saving throws.
Everybody also gets +4 to it because
Okay.
they're next to me with my aura. So mine's already like factored in. So mine's 12.
Sorry, did I need to roll one?
Nope, you're good.
No, you are not
Oh,
within 10 feet of it.
So 16 for Tanaruk.
Okay.
And then Hans got 20.
Oh, did you say +4, Nate?
Yeah, +4. So the Tanner
So-
got 17.
Yeah.
And then Whistler will need to roll one with a +4 also.
Okay. Let's see, what's there? Too many sheets. There he is. Okay, so he needs to make dexterity.
Everybody made it but me.
Oh no.
Let's see. So yes, this is the sweeping axe. So it's a DC 17. So
Oh, Hans didn't make it.
okay. So the Tanaruk did. It was +4. So
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, Hans did. He gets 20. I forgot that.
yes. Okay. Then 3d8 plus 6, or half as much. So let's do the. All right. So that is 21 points of damage if you fail to save, and I guess 10 points of damage if you succeeded.
$10 points. It's a melee attack.
It is.
It's like a
Tanaruk.
save though, right? So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's true. It's not a it's a. Well, he might not be able to get his. So the Tanaruk, in response to being hit by a melee attack, he can make a melee attack with advantage against the attacker as a reaction.
You can do that. The Tanaruk did succeed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he will make a great sword attack back. Ugh.
As the Tanaruk is dodging, it goes to take an attack, but as it's moving out of the way, takes a wide swing. And we're back to
Terry. God damn it! Get it together.
Wasn't he like this last time too?
Yeah, he was. He needs time to warm up.
I will say that because we had this plan, Pondus does run towards Morag with his movement and does
get on.
Yeah, sits bitch.
Right.
So it is now Morag's turn. Back to the top of the order.
Okay, so this is serious. Morag has made a decision. She looks over at her little demon and she says, I think that you and I can do great things together, but you need to bind yourself to me now. I suggest that you tell me your true name. And she's going to cast suggestion on him, and he will make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm giving him a plus on that or not. He's within range to get +4 from me.
Yeah, he's an ally currently.
Okay, so and then he just critted it. However, I want to spend some of these channel points. How do I do that? I need him to fail this.
You just say that you do.
Okay. So if we're taking the 15, that will be a fail.
Except that Cyrus is buffing him, so it's still a 19.
Okay. Can I have him roll again? How many channel points can I spend here, guys?
I will say if you're spending channel points, you can roll again.
Okay. Click that button. There we go.
Okay. So you cast suggestion on your Tanaruk, and its eyes kind of go white for a second, and it looks towards you as it's dodges out of the way of this sweeping axe, but it takes just a second to turn back and goes, "My name is Terry Thraxus."
Terry Thraxus.
Is that like one name or is that his surname?
It's one name.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's infernal. There's like an apostrophe in there, like
Terry Thraxus Cobbler. My father made shoes.
Okay, I just need a Terry Thraxus part. Thank you very much. And then as Whistler is, or not Whistler, Pondus is on my broom, we'll kick up into the air. We're going to go 30 feet up. That's as far as we can go with both of us on the broom.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be my turn. But now Terry Thraxis gets to go.
Okay.
So he's going to continue to bite and fight. And his teeth are just not sharp enough.
So the Tanaruk still fights against your control every turn, but now it has disadvantage, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
which he'll roll at the end of his attack.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, probably on that bite. Let's see if
Yes.
the greatsword hits. Oh,
No.
Damn it, buddy. I need to get myself a new demon. All right, so then he's going to. Oh wait.
I bet he'll roll good now.
Summon greater demon is charisma saving throw. Okay, so he's going to do this at disadvantage. Yeah.
All right.
Failed that.
Yeah. You have maintained your hold on your Tanaruk.
All right. And that will be our turn.
All right. Midge, it is now your turn. You are still invisible. You have an illusory night hag, which this thing did, when it kind of took a swipe, did take a swipe through this night hag and didn't really see anything happen. So it's not as intelligent to know that there's nothing there. But it just so you know, it did kind of attack towards that.
Oh yeah. I forgot I was muted earlier when I was trying to say that. Yeah, I just wanted her to cackle wildly after he swiped through her. Just kind of a, mad, you didn't do shit to me, homeboy, cackling. And,
yes, it's very suburban, like neighborhood Halloween.
Yeah, and I'd like to have it start circling around the side of him, or the side of, but have her stay within eyesight of the two little zombies, and also the front of this creature as well. I don't want them to forget about her, but I want them to think that she's a little more tactical. She can only move up to 20, I think it's 25 feet away from the card,
okay,
where the card laid on the ground. So, so I have her start circling just a little bit, and for my turn, I wanted to. I could keep chucking more of these, but that's not very helpful. Just the one. I want her. What was the thing I was looking for? Oh yes. Hold on, let me grab the. Oh, sorry, I had to kill my sheet when I did the card thing because it takes up space. There we go.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff pulled up on my screen too. I got you.
Yeah, and then the stream's going off our chat in this window, and if I open two different Roll20 windows, the music plays twice. So it's I'm resorted to flipping on the same one. Okay, so on my turn, shallst I drop invisibility? Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. So I'm gonna stay behind the group, kind of fan out, seeing this thing take that large sweep, fan out a little farther away, and I would like to cast Flaming Sphere at level 2. And conjure this fiery ball. I'm going to do it right from where the hag's standing. So okay. Have her have this fireball ready and have my flaming sphere spawn right in front of her.
So it looks like she's casting the spell. Yeah.
Yes. And then ram the flaming sphere into... am I able to hit the zombies?
You would have disadvantage. They have partial cover.
Okay. Oh, I don't think it's an attack. I don't think it's an attack. I think it's a dex save. So what, they would have advantage on the dex save?
They would have advantage on their dex save, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but if they're both right next to each other, I can hit both with the same sphere. I just have to...
How big's the sphere?
I think it's only a 5 foot, but it's everything around it. So as long as they're within 15 feet of each other on that platform...
Yeah, I'd say they're probably within 15 feet of each other. They're on either side of this thing.
Okay, then... Oh, wait, they're on both sides?
Yeah, there's kind of like a chassis built into this thing where where kind of if you think of like in a tank, the guy that sits in front with his head poking out, it's kind of like that. They're partially protected by the armor of this thing.
Okay, but they're still within range of each other that I could try to hit them.
They'd be within 15 feet. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Then I will try to ram that, and they both get dex saves with advantage.
Okay.
My question is, since it's landing on the creature, does the creature also have to make one, since it touches him as well?
I guess so. Yeah, it would be all three.
Awesome. Awesome. Damn it. And not. I don't need another damn it. Just one, or just two. That's fine. I need one. Yay. Can I get a yay? Yay! Okay. Let me check the wording on the flame spear. Oh, my visibility drops as soon as I do that, by the way. So I'm naked. 5 feet, Warner carried, it sheds bright light, 20-foot radius, and dim light for an additional 20. Or half. Okay, so full damage to the Titan and half damage to them. So
okay,
11 and 5. And I'm gonna back up, trying to stay like behind the group, poking my head out a little bit, and hopefully they think that the hag did that. And that's it. That's my turn.
Cool. All right. It is Cyrus's turn.
All right, what's going on?
You're all good. So Midge hit with a flaming spear. The two Karnathi undead were able to save, took half damage. The Titan did not, took full damage. And yeah, Midge is now visible, but hiding behind the hag illusion.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Okay, cool. I will attack. I'm assuming a 12 doesn't hit.
It's not.
Second attack.
That does.
Should. 12 slashing on that, and then I will throw a second level smite. And that will be 3d8. So an extra 13 damage, radiant.
Okay.
And then Hans will make 3 longsword attacks with advantage.
One of those will hit.
Gross.
He went Terry style on those ones.
Yeah.
So he does a d10 plus 7. So 14 damage from him.
Okay.
Non-magical.
We'll do 7 then. All right. Okay. And it is now Mick and Vic's turn. And they are going to take longbow attacks at Cyrus.
Yikes.
Yes.
Actually, I should say, I didn't do this last time. Soldier attacks 3 times with one of its weapons. So they will each get, I guess, 3 longbow attacks. And they also get pack tactics since they are literally riding an ally.
And they're next to each other, I would assume.
They're within 15 feet. We established that with Midge.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right, so one of those will hit, and
The 21 hits me
yeah.
also.
All right. So 9 points of piercing damage as kind of a hail of arrows comes towards you. The shield catches most of them, but 2 arrows do pierce through.
Okay.
And it is now, let's see, Whistler's turn. And let's see if I still have Whistler pulled up. Hey, I do. Whistler is going to take 2 attacks with his vicious war
Are we
pick.
dead? Did we die?
Still alive. And both of those are going to miss as he does take his war pick attacks towards the Warforged Titan, but is not able to find purchase. Ramiel, it is now your turn with your 6 mephits waiting in the wings.
Hell yeah.
I can't. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear anybody.
We can hear you.
Hear you.
I
You
can't
probably
hear
nod.
any of you.
Yeah, right.
We can hear you.
You muted the thing probably. Ramiel, do you know the names of all your methods so you can control them better?
Methods 1 through 6.
Yeah,
I will go
Nathaniel
through
gets a
and name
name,
them.
and these just get numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. They of course. I don't think they quite care.
Bobby and Jan and Cindy and Greg and.
I will name all of them if you want me to. I definitely will. Let's see. Okay, so I know we go over this like every single time, but I'm not good at this. I can cast a cantrip as long as it's not going to break my concentration for the methods, correct?
Yes. Yeah, if you're maintaining concentration for the methods, it can be a cantrip, but no other leveled spells.
Okay, I'm going to cast Firebolt, my cantrip, at the big Titan guy.
Okay.
Let's see. I think I actually is Firebolt the one that doesn't work on here? I think I have just an attack for that. There we go. Oh, so it got a 24 to hit him.
That would hit.
Okay, so then I should just click it to do damage, correct? 6.
Nice.
And she's going to send the Mephits forward as a group, and they each have the ability to once a day cast heat metal.
Okay.
And she's gonna see if she can kind of get them to swarm around, maybe like one of its appendages, like an arm,
Yeah.
or probably a leg, because if we can immobilize the thing so it can't move around, that'd probably be better. So she's gonna have them swarm around a leg and see if if they all cast heat metal on it, if it can fuck up a leg somehow.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and have them do that just so I can see the spell.
That should send it. It's pretty low DC, but
okay. So what is the DC for heat metal?
it says on that one, it says Mephit can innately cast heat metal, spell save DC 10.
Yeah, but what is it rolling? I guess that's what I'm asking.
I don't know.
Let's see.
I don't have heat metal myself.
No,
I think
it's a Constitution saving throw. Okay. But that's if it's going to drop the object. If it doesn't drop the object, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of your next turn. So it can't drop a leg.
Leg. Okay.
But yeah, let's see if it can con save. Yes, it can. But that is against 6.
Yeah.
So let's see if it's going to do this 6 times.
Come on, Mephits.
It's probably pretty good at Constitution, looks
damn.
like.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's pretty constituted. However, I will say that is... We're going to really cool this because that's... I love solutions to that. You are able to, when all these things, their power combined, go around one of the knee joints, and they nearly fuse this thing. They're not able to melt it all the way through, but like a swarm of flaming locusts, these things descend, and they fuse the knee joint, so this thing really isn't able to move one of its legs at this point, and it will actually, its movement is now halved. So I will say that is an awesome solution.
Hell yeah.
And I will give an inspiration point to that because that is really
Thank you.
all right, it is now. So the Mephits had their turn. Ramiel did her turn. Pondus's turn. And I think I'm gonna have to pull the sheet again.
just squeeze with your thighs, and you'll be able to do your somatic components. Just
does he have his legs
clench
wrapped
those
around
thighs.
Mourning's waist?
Yeah.
Screaming just a little bit. I think Pondus is gonna cast another fireball. Why not? He's got the spell slots. All right, so this thing needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Wow, he rolled crazy high on the damage.
Yeah. All right, so he's going to do 33 points of damage, and as he does, this fireball blasts the side of this Titan's face, and actually begins to kind of like with all these fire attacks, tends to melt a little bit of like the shielding that was around the face. Yeah, that was awesome.
Cyrus comments aloud, "Wow, that Pondus, he sure is useful in a fight."
I fucking knew this was coming. I fucking knew it. That's okay. We need it. We need it.
It is now the Titan's turn. It is going to use its multi-attack, and it is going to attack towards the Tanaruk and Cyrus. So it is going to take an axe hand towards the Tanaruk. And it's going to take a hammer fist towards Cyrus.
Aha! I defended myself.
All right. So the axe hand will do 19 points of slashing damage as it comes crashing into the suggested Tanaruk.
Oh, Terry, your beautiful face.
In retaliation, he will make an attack after when you're done.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and make that attack.
Great sword. Oh, did he hit it?
He did not. Wall away. So close.
You're doing great. You're doing great out there.
Come on, Terry.
Get it. Do it for Bobby.
Oh no, Terry.
All right. I will say if you guys are okay, we can leave off mid battle here. We're about you've whittled this thing down about halfway. So I will keep hit points here, and we will pick up next week because we've already gone half an hour over, and I appreciate all of your patience with
Will
that.
Roll20 save my hit point stats the way they are?
Yeah, it should.
Anything on your sheet is it's saved.
Yeah.
I'm keeping track of Hans's hit points on my sheet too, so I've got that marked up.
Awesome. Yeah, and I've got everybody else here, and we'll maintain order for initiative order and everything. And once again, thank you to all of my lovely players and all of you that have stuck around for this extra half hour. I know it's late here in Eastern time zone, and so I appreciate your patience with that. I will go ahead and do my wrap up, and then we can go ahead and go around. My name's Derek Sword. It's been lovely having you all here. I absolutely love DMing every Saturday for this Eberron campaign. I have the best players, which makes it awesome. If you're looking to find me anywhere else, you can find me on Twitter, Discord, and Twitch using the username dsword16. I am also on Uncanny Adventures every other Tuesday for a Call of Cthulhu Shadows over Stillwater game. We just fought some weird snake folk in a cave, so stuff's starting to get spooky. Excuse me. I am also the co-host of the podcast Monster Crush, which just released an episode this past Wednesday. It's a lovely podcast where I co-host with two other lovely individuals, Heavenly and Ellie. And every other week, we talk about different monsters that we might want to date and smooch and what that Bigfoot dick like. So definitely check that out wherever podcasts are found. Like, subscribe, and review. We always appreciate those. And that said, I will pass things along to the lovely and also monstrous Jillian.
Thank you. I'm Jillian of Midgard, most places on the internet. Jillian Midgard on Twitter. I do art and custom character sheets for D&D and other places. Having a great time playing Morag, and sorry about having to run off the screen real fast at the end there. Hopefully nothing dire happened while we were gone. But yeah, definitely going to be back next week. So remember to text 555 Morag to keep me from getting voted off.
That's right. All right. Nate, you are Jillian's best guy in the world. What do you have?
I'm her booth babe.
Right.
I'm the main attraction when people come to the booth. They see me from afar, and then they come over and they buy things.
Yeah, Jillian's art is good, but
Yeah, it's really me that they come to see.
They're coming for that Nate.
At least I tell myself that, anyways. Yeah, I'm Nate, so I'm playing Cyrus. I was really excited to see Morag's glow up moment this week. We've been discussing it a little bit behind the scenes and on stream, so I'm glad that finally paid off, and glad to be back in action, as Cyrus is kind of a man of action. So he's at home on a battlefield, and here we are fighting a giant metal monstrosity. We might not be a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but we're doing our best, damn it.
That's right. And what's the opposite of a giant metal monstrosity? It's K.
You are so nice to me. Oh my gosh. Hi everyone. I'm Kay at ironic_cupcake on Twitch and Twitter. I had so much fun today, as always. Oh my gosh, there was like emotions in there. Like poor Prince Orgrave. Like that was really unexpected. I wasn't expecting to have like this little mini heart to heart with him. I loved it though, Derek. Oh my gosh, top tier as always. And I really love how everyone is getting along in this like group of just ragtag folks are just kind of meshing together slowly, and like just everything's great and everyone's getting along so well. Like I was really worried when we were discussing characters and who we were playing, like are we gonna be friends? Are we gonna get along? Because it's always more fun if you're friends with your party members. And I hope Rami's mom has a little bit of faith in the letter that Rami wrote to her.
Is she gonna send like a bounty hunter after you? Like,
there's no return. There's no return address, so hopefully not.
Okay.
The real big bad evil guy is who comes after Rami.
Yeah,
trying to find her, and I feel like I need to clarify something about Rami's age. She is very naive because she was very sheltered, but she is an adult. She is 18, just so there's no creepiness in there. She's fine. As for plugs, I am guesting this month on the Arcana Code on Twitch in their the Enigma Syndicate campaign this month. I am playing Captain Siobhan Buchanan of the Griffin Guard. The games are so much fun. It's every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. It's been so I've only played one session last week, and oh my god, I had so much fun. So follow me and the Arcana Code on Twitter. I'm going to be tweeting about it like crazy. They're going to be tweeting about it. I'm being so sassy. I mean, if you liked the little sass Rami had this episode, it's big sassy over with that character.
Awesome. And who else is sassier than Kyle?
Hey, yeah, I felt Midge was a little sassier this episode. Not to put Rami's sass in there, but I definitely don't think it's gonna rival what I'm gonna see on Tuesday, because I'm also in that episode on Arcana Code. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so Kyle was Midge, had a great time today. Thank you so much, Derek. I would sing your praises all the more, but I have to go to work. So as far as it's the same thing as before, you can check out all our socials and everything on the channel description, and YouTube content. I'm releasing more of it. Just recorded one last night. Kevin, if you're still here, thanks for hanging out with me while I recorded that review of the magic tattoos that have come up in on North Arcana. And yeah, we have all of these episodes, not all of them yet, but most of them are up on Stalwart Archive. And what else? Yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday for Strands of the Sun, our Desert Adventure campaign. And yep, until then, everyone have a wonderful night. Let us raid somebody and pay it forward if it allows me to effing all right, so Arvin Elleron. I can't.
Also, everybody, I am on O4A, Open for Adventures tomorrow. I'm going to be playing as a lizard folk named Nasi, and it's going to be super fun. There's some great players on that, and we're playing in Mayor's Homebrew World. I completely forgot I was doing that tomorrow. 7:30 EDT.
There we go. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, make sure you put it in the Discord group. Join our Discord group if you're not part of it. It's awesome. We do one-shots and stuff out of there. Everyone have a great night. See you guys.